Oh, yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. You had better wake them up. Get them going Wednesday on B&E. Going to feel like a Friday for a lot of folks as you this up and out. Turkey Day coming up tomorrow. The Thanksgiving holiday is here, and we have a lot to do. 4 hours will definitely not be enough to get everything in. We'll treat it like a Wednesday meets a Friday. We're going to make picks, get you ready for 4 days of football and fun and turkey and family and all that goes with the next 4 days. We appreciate you being there on what's going to be a little bit of a wet morning again. Wet forecast for the next couple of days, which has been our norm, a little warmer than it's been, but certainly gray skies and wet stuff coming out of it the next couple of days for sure. Looks like the sun may peek its way through coming up on Saturday and into the weekend. But first things first, we appreciate you being there wherever you find us to start your Wednesday morning on 104.9, maybe 101.9 FM, AM 1260, and streaming always on the Horn app, on your smart speaker, and always Mr. Godbolt at hornfm.com.
Good morning to the soldiers at Fort Hood, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day. Thank you so very much. And hopefully you will have a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving to you and your families, and to all out there in our listening audience. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it. It will be warm over the weekend. Once we get to Saturday and Sunday, and even into next week, we'll be in the 60s, which will be nice and pleasant again. Because this dampness is gross.
Yeah, I'd rather take the cold, I like the 40s more than the humidity that's up now. But either way, hopefully get to enjoy your family, enjoy some fun, enjoy a lot of football over the next 4 days. We're going to get you there on this Wednesday morning.
And the Buck is home alone.
Yeah, your wife is back visiting her mother.
Yeah, they'll be at the Apple Cup on Saturday. Good luck to that.
The Apple Cup, that's Washington State, part of rivalry weekend in Pullman, Washington.
And that's at night, and it's supposed to be in the 20s. Good luck. I said, hey, have fun.
Yeah, man.
Knock that one out.
Ooh, she's going to the game in the 20s?
Yeah.
Oh, bundle up. Bundle up for crying out loud. But, yeah, man, it's one of the great weekends of college football of the year. With the rivalries, and obviously Michigan, Ohio State. Ohio State, Michigan, standing as the largest game. Notre Dame, USC will be on Saturday, of course, Friday morning. Texas and Baylor to wrap up the regular season for the Longhorns and the Bears. We'll preview that game extensively. Craig Way has a Craig Way report coming up. We've also got football in the NFL. Week 12 will kick off tomorrow with the annual Turkey Day triple header. Cowboys with a big win with the New York Football Giants. We'll preview that game coming up as well. Cowboys coming off that ultra-impressive win over the Minnesota Vikings this past Sunday, I should say. Looking to keep that rolling with a divisional foe. Cowboys, by the way, have not been good on Thanksgiving. I believe their last win on Turkey Day was 5 years ago. We'll get you the numbers on the Dallas Cowboys as they need a big one on Thursday morning. Because if they get that one, or Thursday afternoon, if they get that one, Buck, they get extra time, 10 days off. There's talk of Odell Beckham possibly being a conversation over the extended off time after Thursday. Then Tyron Smith, the left tackle, could be back, who's been out since the start of the season. He could be back, after the 10-day break. So it would be a huge opportunity for the Cowboys to go back-to-back and beat a good Vikings team in Minnesota, turn around and host a winning and improved Giants team who they've already beaten once this year. So good opportunity for the Cowboys. Longhorns, of course, looking at an opportunity on Friday morning to get to 8-4, finish strong for Steve Sarkisian and give themselves at least a look at the Big 12 championship game. They'd have to sit back and watch the Kansas Jayhawks on Saturday night. So a lot to get into. As we say, it'll be a lot. We're going to try to get a lot in over 4 hours. Let's start with the headlines and the trending topics to get you cranked up on your getaway Wednesday morning. UBEO Business Services brings it to you. Start with the college football playoff rankings, which remain unchanged for a third consecutive week. Defending champions Georgia remains on top and undefeated. They're followed by the fellow undefeateds, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. All three of those teams survived major upset scares this past Saturday. LSU comes in at number 5 this week, followed by the USC Trojans. Rankings are certain to change next week. That's because the Buckeyes are going to host the Wolverines this Saturday in Columbus, one of the games of the year in college football. Georgia will host Georgia Tech. TCU will close out the regular season in Fort Worth, hosting Iowa State. Of course, both the Bulldogs and the Horned Frogs will be set up for the championship games in the SEC and the Big 12 the following week. Texas football, there's a clear path for the now 22nd ranked Longhorns to get to the Big 12 championship game in Arlington a week from Saturday. They would have to beat Baylor this Friday morning at DKR. Then they'll need the team they just pummeled this past Saturday, Kansas, to go into Manhattan and beat the Wildcats in a battle for bragging rights in the Sunflower State. First things first for Steve Sarkisian and the Horns. They must protect their home field on Senior Day against a quality Baylor Bear team.
tough losses happen, man, and they took the number 4 team in the country to the brink, to the last second. But in the end, that's what our conference is about. It's tough. Big 12 is a tough conference, man. Week in and week out, you got to play, ultimately your best football to come out on top. So they're a very good football team, very well coached, and I know they'll be hungry Friday at 11 a.m.
That's right, 11 a.m. they'll kick. Our pregame coverage goes live at 7 a.m. from Bevo Boulevard. Final home game, final home tailgate. Get on out there. We'll see you on Bevo Boulevard at 7 o'clock across the Austin Radio Network. This Friday's game, of course, could be the last one at DKR for the tremendous running back Bijan Robinson. Yesterday, the junior from Tucson named one of the 10 finalists for the Doak Walker Award, which honors the nation's top running back annually. Kansas State's Deuce Vaughn, TCU's Kendre Miller, also among those final 10. Winner will be announced on December the 8th. One other college football note, Kansas and their head coach Lance Leipold have reached an agreement on a contract extension that will keep Leipold in Lawrence through the 2029 season. He's guided Kansas to 6 wins this year in his second year at the helm. Most wins the program's had since 2008 in the season, and as many wins the program had posted in the previous 3 seasons combined. Light night in the NBA. All 3 Texas teams took the night off. 76ers did spoil the return of Ben Simmons to Philadelphia. They beat the Nets 115-106. Good day, night of college hoops last night. The Maui Invitational going on out in Hawaii, obviously. 21st ranked Texas Tech walloped Louisville 70-36. 14th ranked Arizona took down 17th ranked San Diego State 87-70, and 10th ranked Creighton top 9th ranked Arkansas 90-87. Blue Jays will be an opponent of the Longhorns coming up on December the 1st.
Yeah, I watched some of that 76er game. That was my first NBA action of the season. And they were relentless on that poor dude.
Yeah.
Nothing like Philly. Nothing like coming back home to Philadelphia. Wow.
As a hated person.
And he started out pretty good. I mean, I think he had like 11 points, a bunch of rebounds. He looked pretty good. And they were just on him from the minute he came in the building, he said. And it was ugly during the game. And, I mean, they just cussed him out every time he touched the ball. But, I mean, that's what happens when you come back to a place like that.
Kyrie Irving was back, too. 23 points last night. Yeah, Sixers get the win. Ben Simmons had 11 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds. No Joel Embiid in that game for the Sixers, but they did get the victory. Yeah, light night of the NBA, good college hoops, and we'll really start drilling down on this Texas team. They play that Creighton group coming up in December. They, as Chris Beard has talked about, they really wanted they know the Big 12 Conference is a gauntlet. When you're playing the likes of the defending champions Kansas, the previous champions Baylor, Texas Tech walloped Louisville last night. The conference is loaded.
Boy, is Louisville a bad team? It's like 5 losses in a row.
Yeah, that's not going well for the Cardinals. No. But Chris Beard wants to play a really good and tough non-conference schedule. They've already taken on Gonzaga and beaten them, and coming up they'll get Creighton. The Blue Jays, 10th ranked team in the country, improved to 6-0 with the win last night out at
They got a big
old
island. Big man.
Andrew Nembhard.
Wow.
I mean. I believe that's his name. We'll get you ready for that game as we get you cranking. Also, Illinois, a big tester for them out of the Big Ten later in the year. But we know Friday morning will be a big test for the Longhorns, Buck, as they crank it up with Baylor. You heard Steve Sarkisian say it. They took that stinging loss. TCU found a way behind Max Duggan to rally with 8 points 9 points in the fourth quarter to beat them, 29-28, and one heck of a ball game in Waco. But they were in control of that game. That was a really good football game, by the way.
Yes.
And much like Texas bounced back from their poor performance against TCU, Baylor bounced back from a poor performance at home to K-State the week previous, and really, took the number 4 team in the nation to the wire.
Yeah, you got to make Shapen beat you on Saturday. I mean, he's got to be the one to beat you. You can't let the run game beat you. You have to do what you've been doing all year, stuff the run game, and see if that kid can get it done, because he doesn't have very many weapons.
That's where you feel like you have the advantage, yes. Right? I mean, it's
he's got 14 TDs, he's got 9 interceptions. I mean, and they're struggling to find wideouts, but they'll use that tight end. But he's not going down the field very far. So if you stop the run game, because they believe with the big back that they have, and the freshman, that they can get it done. But Texas has been so good against the run. Put it in his hands.
Yeah, I mean, we talked all offseason about Baylor. How do they replace? I mean, their lines of scrimmage were going to be really good, among the top in the conference, and they are. Offensive and defensive lines. You have a very athletic offensive line with that outside run game, that outside zone that they run with Jeff Grimes as the offensive coordinator. And then their defensive line is tremendous. But the question was, how do they replace their playmakers? They won the Big 12 and the Sugar Bowl a year ago.
Yep.
In Dave Aranda's second year, but they lost their top running back in Abram Smith. They lost their top receiver Tyquan Thornton to the NFL.
He's at the Pats, right?
Yeah, Patriots took him third round. Big time player on the outside, and then on defense they lost Jalen Petrie, the safety, and Terrell Bernard, the great linebacker, and those were just playmaking guys.
They still got that big nose guard.
Yeah, I mean they're still really tough at the point of attack. Yeah. But man, we know that the Baylor Bears last year in April had the most players drafted for a Big 12 team. I think it was 6 or 7 were drafted. Those were the difference makers, right? And right now, Baylor has a hard time with difference makers. Who are the guys, as you say, on the outside that are going to scare you? Even the running backs are pretty good, but not great. Texas has a serious advantage at the skill positions, at the playmaking positions, and they have the home field. So that's why Texas.
Yeah, and to me, it's a lot. I mean, 11 o'clock in the morning. Baylor's bowl eligible. They're not. They know they're the defending champs. So will they play like champs? So they know they're going to a bowl game. And they got. I mean, they're not. They can't get the championship back now. They're not in position for it. So it's just a matter of what Baylor team. But it's not about them. It's about how you come out on Saturday morning at 11 a.m.
That's right.
What are you going to be about? Because you're still in a championship hunt. They are not. They're going to a bowl. They just want to look good, and they're defending champs, and they don't want to look bad.
And it's Texas, right?
And it's Texas, right?
So yeah, but you're right. Texas has a lot to play for here. I mean, you just in your mind, you just have to assume Kansas is going to beat Kansas State. I mean, that's an uphill battle, but that's got to be your mindset that the Jayhawks are going to get it done for you. You woke them up, you gave them a good demolishing, and they're going to rise up and win their in-state bragging rights. That's how you have to position this game. It's a short week, but you're familiar with your opponent, and it's a good matchup of Steve Sarkisian and his offense against Dave Aranda.
Yeah, plus you need 8 wins. I mean, 8 wins is a big deal.
Well, 8-4 is a nice step forward off 5-7.
Yes.
Almost flipping the schedule around and finishing strong and giving yourself at least a chance to watch it on Saturday night and see what happens. If not, you begin prepping for the bowl game and where you're going to go, which you need a couple of weeks of bowl practice and all that goes with that. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great crowd. I mean, there's a lot of seniors on this team that have an opportunity to hear the cheers at DKR for the final time, and I think we kind of assume it's the final game for Bijan Robinson. I know you're hoping against hope on that maybe Bijan would come back and play a senior season.
Semi silliness on my part, but yeah, I would hope he would, but. I mean, he's going to do and his people around him are going to do what's best for him. But there's a chance. I mean, he's eligible.
There's a chance.
Well, he's eligible to come back for another year. I mean, I'd say that.
Well, heck, I mean, there's a bunch of dudes eligible. Keandre Coburn has. I mean, all the guys that are typically just walk-off seniors, because of the COVID year that the NCAA has extended, they all could come back. I think
Coburn,
Anthony Cook, DeMarvion Overshone, and I think Jordan Whittington. I think that's that's where it's like I don't even know who's officially out of eligibility and who's not.
I got to believe Jameson's out of eligibility.
Overshone.
Jameson's been here for like 7 years.
I think it's Jameson, Cook, and Overshone.
Yeah.
That have to be done. I think a guy like Keandre Coburn has a decision to make.
Christian Jones is gone.
Maybe.
I think.
So let me hear. So Overshone, Jameson, and Anthony Cook do not have any say. They're done.
They're done.
I'm reading this from Horns 24/7. Okay, buddy Jeff Howe and his team.
They're past the point of no return.
It says here that some Longhorns who have played a key role for Texas in year 2 under Steve Sarkisian, including Keandre Coburn, Devondre Sweat, Moro Ojomo, Jordan Whittington, Christian Jones, and Roschon Johnson, in addition to a few others, are among the 4 and 5 year players have the option to play another season of college football because of the NCAA's COVID year. So,
yeah, I mean, you'll see the guys that'll take part in the senior day stuff will probably not be coming back.
Most likely, right? And
yeah, because they already know there's no making up your mind.
And Ojomo, Sweat, and Coburn have really played themselves into being NFL players and NFL draft picks with the way they performed this year. They need to, get themselves to the Senior Bowl, potentially get themselves to the Combine.
Yeah, if they're invited to bowl games, yeah, those kind of.
And
I
would think Jordan Whittington, Christian Jones, and Roschon Johnson are in that same boat. But we'll see. I mean, that's where we are in the state of college athletics with the COVID year and the almost an extra year given to everybody. You've got some decisions to make because even if you redshirted early, that's okay,
right?
Because the NCAA is giving you another year, so you could be a 6th-year player, and those are decisions those guys have to make in this spot. But we'll see where that goes. But it'll be an interesting senior day, and that usually leads to a lot of emotion. And parents are in town and. tears and flowers and all of that, and then you got to go play a football game.
And that game is crazy because you just never know where you're going at on senior day. I know you want to be a winner playing it if it's your final college game and you're playing in front of your home crowd, and I've seen senior days go a bad way too. But I think lately they've been okay here. But sometimes, as I said, guys start to try to play outside the box, and they want to do some special things on their last home game, and that screws up the team. Your mind goes one way, or you just play that perfect game on the way out too.
Yeah. Mom and your girlfriend are in the stands.
Lots of emotions go into that.
All right. It's B&E on this Wednesday that feels like a Friday. Be careful out there. There was a lot of traffic coming in for me this morning. Not a little heavier than usual on 35 coming in, so people getting up and getting out, trying to get to Grandma's house or wherever you're going. A lot of travel happening today, so certainly be safe out there. Airport will be jam-packed today. Hey, what's your early feel on this Michigan-Ohio State game, Ohio State-Michigan game? 11 o'clock on Saturday morning.
In the shoe?
In the shoe. Michigan finally ended the drought last year in Ann Arbor as they put one on the Buckeyes. They're the more physical team. Ohio State appears to be the more dynamic team. They're playing at home.
Yeah, I think the dynamic team wins this one. There's enough physicality on that Ohio State defense right now that they can hang in there, especially if the running back's not that help. If the running back is kind of still banged up and just trying to play in this football game, that won't be good. I mean, if he's stumbling around there on a bum leg trying to go against this Ohio State defense, they could light him up, and that's a doom for Michigan, especially if he gets hurt during the course of the game early when he's trying to play early. I don't know if that's good for them.
I mean, it's both teams had to survive last week, which was, I don't know if it was a look ahead. Illinois is a pretty good team, but Illinois had Michigan down, and they had to kick a late field goal to win that ball game, much like we saw TCU have to do to beat Baylor. Ohio State, I know the scoreboard said 43-30 at Maryland, but that game was 33-30 into the fourth quarter, and it was a little tenuous at that point. So both teams survived to get there at 11-0.
It will matter how the Ohio State's running back, who's playing running back, who's healthy in that group too. It's not just Michigan's running back.
Well, you got Mayan Williams is hurt, Travion Henderson is hurt, Jackson Smith and Jigba has been right all year, and they had almost caught up with him last week against the Maryland Terrapins. And look, Michigan is allowing less than 3 yards per carry. They don't give up money rushing yards. They had the freshmen step up big time at Ohio State last week, but that's how Michigan won this game a year ago. They just punched Ohio State in the face.
Yeah, everybody was healthy. That was just a bashing last year. That was a physical beatdown.
Physical beatdown.
Yeah,
is absolutely right. And this is both teams' biggest test of the year. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The Big Ten. Think about this in the Big Ten. Iowa State is a bad team in the Big 12, right? They're playing TCU Saturday. But Iowa State beat Iowa. Iowa's going to play in the Big Ten championship game.
And that's something.
Iowa's not good, yet they're the top team in the Big Ten West. The Big Ten is not strong this year, to say the least. The third best team is Penn State, and they're just okay. Michigan and Ohio State, we think, are really good, but their schedule has not really proven that or shown that.
The best team they both have played, I think, is Penn State.
Yeah, for sure, and they both won pretty handily.
Yep.
In that game, so. We'll see. I think both teams are quality, but the point of the Big Ten being down is that the loser's done. I mean,
and it's a Heisman game too for the quarterback.
I see, and Blake Corum. I mean, Blake Corum, the running back, if he can be healthy and be in that game, Michigan has turned to J.J. McCarthy this year, who's become their quarterback for Jim Harbaugh. It seems like a really even matchup, and the winner will be in the Big Ten championship game with a chance to get to the playoff. The loser will be out. Loser will be getting ready for the Rose Bowl.
Well, I would say the winner of this, either one, will beat Iowa.
Iowa's bad, but it's amazing that Big Ten West is just so bad. Wisconsin, which is traditionally is the stronghold over there, have had a bad year. They fired their coach. There's just not really a team over there. Minnesota has underachieved this year. Nebraska had to fire Scott Frost. Purdue didn't live up to billing.
They did not.
And think about that. A lower level team in the Big 12 beat the team that's going to represent the Big 10 in the Big 10 championship game. That might tell you the quality of the Big 12 versus the top of the Big 10 is good because I think Michigan and Ohio State are outstanding, but they really haven't been battle tested like we've seen maybe in the Big 12 in the Southeastern Conference.
Is TCU getting? Is it a home game with Iowa State?
Yes.
The finale for them?
Yep.
Yeah, they've played all their big games except for last week at home.
Yeah, they get to come home for senior day for them in Fort Worth to play the Cyclones, get a win there, and they'll be playing either Texas or Kansas State in the Big 12 championship game in Arlington right down the road, which will be an opportunity for them to pick up a championship. And, don't you know, Brett Yormark and the Big 12 are kind of rooting for Kansas State, right?
Oh, of course.
To have a Big 12 championship game that doesn't include Texas or Oklahoma, both teams that are leaving the new look conference.
That's their worst nightmare of Texas is in the championship.
Well,
game.
and it's a dream come true, because if you're Brett Yormark, the new commissioner, you're trying to brand new flagship programs, and boy, if TCU can get themselves into the Final Four, which they're right there, it's huge for the Big 12. I mean, it's just, I know there are people nationally that kind of quibble about TCU because they're not a big enough brand. This is exactly what the Big 12 needs moving forward is new brand names, because their top brands are leaving to go to the Southeastern Conference. If TCU can become a household name, and don't you know, Sonny Dykes with 2 more victories playing in that Final Four, Buck, what a recruiting boon that can be.
Oh, my goodness.
In the Metroplex and throughout the DFW, throughout North Texas, to say, look, you can play for a championship right here.
And now Coach Leipold just signed his contract, which is fantastic, because in order for him to sign that contract, Kansas had to do a bunch of different things with all facilities. I mean, he obviously he wanted the football facility to be first and foremost, but Kansas the university is doing a bunch for everything, from women's sports to football. And Leipold was not going to probably re-sign if they weren't going to do that, if they weren't going to promise him all that stuff.
Yeah, they got to bring the upgrades, and but he's done a great job there, and he was a talk of him at Nebraska. Maybe even Wisconsin for Lance Leipold, who's done a great job. He was
any job that would come open if he didn't sign that deal would have been, he would have been a part of it, I would believe.
Well, and he's got ties to Nebraska, where he was an assistant at one point. He also was the head coach of Wisconsin Whitewater for years and years, won 6 national championships at that level. So Wisconsin was a name too, but he's going to stay at Kansas, keep building that program. He's doing a nice job, without a doubt. I want to tell you about our friends at Callahan's General Store. Make it a Callahan's Day each and every day. Tell you about how they're getting your lawn winterized and everything that they have there for you, the winter rye and the seed, the fertilizers, to make sure you're ready to go, because that's important, Buck. You know that, Mr. Green Thumb, to get lawn ready so that when the spring comes and things start to bloom,
they got the good stuff. They got that Ladybug Revitalizer, which is fantastic.
Yeah, they do. Everything you need, plus the people to guide you to it, to apply it properly. And I've been telling you, if you haven't been in there to see their pet food selection at Callahan's, if you've got puppies and dogs, man, it is unbelievable. The selection that you won't find anywhere else of the best pet foods out there for your pup, including if you breed dogs and have the bigger animals. They've got a brand called Victor, which is all locally sourced, meaning it's great for your dog's overall health. It's got all the natural products. If your dog has some allergies, it's going to be a better alternative. My buddy Charlie over there at Callahan's has told me that there are some folks who they won't feed their dogs anything else because they see the results with that Victor brand. At Callahan's General Store, it's everything you want. It's the people. It's locally owned and operated since 1978, a Central Texas legend. They're online at Callahan'sGeneralStore.com. Remember, make it a Callahan's Day.
Yeah, and Roshan has already decided he's going to play in the Senior Bowl, so he's gone. He's not coming back.
He's not. Yeah, I don't think he's coming back. Yes, but they have a decision to make. But I think all of them will be playing their final game at DKR on Saturday or Friday morning, I should say. But we'll see. That's where we are in college football. If you want to come back, you can come back and keep playing. If you don't, you can move on to the National Football. And I think all of those guys we mentioned, Coburn, Sweat, Ojimo, Whittington, Christian Jones, and Roshan, all are guys who can play on Sunday. Can make a roster at least. Will they be drafted? I think it's likely that Keandre Coburn, Tavondre Sweat, and Morrow would be draft picks. Whittington needs to have a good combine, a good offseason. Roshan is a guy that, Swiss Army knife for a football team, without a doubt. And Christian,
special team phenom.
Christian Jones has he looks the part, right? The
yes,
long arms, big body. He's had a great senior year, really strong. So we'll see where those guys, and root for those guys, they move forward. They got to get a win over Baylor on Friday morning. We'll preview the Bears. We'll get a Craig Way report coming up. We've got some B&E facts of the day on this Getaway Wednesday. Turkey Day coming tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving. Pluckers, folks, this holiday week, get out to Pluckers. You got your turkey day. You're going to do that with your family. But then beyond that, right, maybe the family's getting a little old. Maybe you want to get out of the house. Do it at Pluckers. 7 great locations. That's where you'll be to watch all your favorite games. Could be the Longhorns on Friday. Could be the games all weekend long, Saturday and Sunday. Do it at Pluckers. The great locations, the great wings. USA Today rated as one of the top 10 wing restaurants in America. Because of that reason, it tends to be very crowded there. They have lines sometimes. So make sure you download that Pluckers Club app. Become a member at Pluckers, and you can save your table virtually. Do it that way so you don't have to wait at all. Get right in there. Don't miss a play of your favorite game. Get those wings going. Get those Bud Lights going. Have a great time at Pluckers. Any of their area locations, become a member. You also get great discounts and coupons and all kinds of benefits once you become a member. They'll also deliver to your house through DoorDash. If you want to eat at home and still get that great food, do it through DoorDash, or you can pick up in-store by simply ordering online at Pluckers.com. It's Pluckers, folks. If you don't like their wings, they'll give you the bird.
Ty. Yeah, baby. That's his first one, E.
Christmas carols.
You know who that is?
No.
It's the Backdoor Boys.
Backdoor Boys. Huh.
Backstreet's new album.
Backstreet Boys.
Oh, Backstreet. Yeah, it's their Christmas album. There you go.
There you go. Did you bring that into him to play?
Oh,
he told me about it first thing this morning.
That's right.
Oh, man. Well,
I saw the Christmas album of the year is coming out right there.
The Backstreet Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you're over the holiday week because we're going to be out tomorrow and Friday. But Friday morning, I'll be on with Rod and Harge for our pregame coverage of Texas and Baylor from Bevo Boulevard at 7 o'clock. You'll be getting ready for a high school football playoff game on Friday as well. Man, what a Friday it is with college football, but also all the high school playoff games. Get you the full schedule coming up. It's going to be a heck of a weekend, 4 days of fun and football. But while you have a little downtime this weekend, make sure you begin to put together your creative Christmas carols for the B&E Christmas Carol Contest, which will begin in earnest when we return next Monday. It's our first year to have Ty as our producer for the Christmas Carol Contest.
And plus, he can sing.
Yeah, we've learned that he was a high-level choir performer at Westlake High School.
Choir. He was in the choir.
I don't know if I can sing well, but I can sing.
That's all right.
You sound like you got some tone.
Yeah,
I like it.
Glee Club guy.
You think you get your buddy Sam Ellinger to help us out because you were in the choir with Sam. You said Sam was. I didn't realize Sam was. You said he was doing the solos.
Oh yeah,
he was stepping out.
Now he's a good singer.
See, who knew? He's one of those guys good at everything.
Out.
Good at everything. This Sam Ellinger. But yeah, we'll have some fun with that, and you know how that goes. Or if you don't, you write a fun. Take your favorite Christmas carol, write a parody to it, sports related. Could be Longhorns, could be Cowboys, could be anything in sports, and have some fun with it. Or and people go crazy with their parodies. You can do those, and we'll put them to music. And as we say, if you're musically inclined and you have some equipment, which is so easy to find these days, put it together for us, and go ahead and we'll play it. And, of course, we'll have a winner with a great prize pack at the end in December as we get closer and closer to Christmas because that all launches. The holiday season is here as of tomorrow, and into Monday we'll start having some fun with that. So be thinking, be smart, and be clever. We like those.
Yeah, you're generally pretty clever.
And is it fair to say that for a couple of years in a row, I think it was 3 in a row, dynastic run of "Please Don't Suck"?
Yes,
the Christmas Carol that was written to the Frozen soundtrack from the great, which isn't even really a Christmas movie, but we allowed it because it was very funny. It was all about Longhorn football and begging, "Please don't suck." Is it fair to say they don't suck this year? Maybe they're not as good as you wanted them to be, but they don't suck.
They're not as sucky. How's that?
I don't think 8-4 means you suck. I think it means you're making
don't you
strides.
have to win this game Friday to be 8-4?
Yeah, but I think even 7-5 you don't suck. You underachieved. I mean, we were talking about some 5-7s like last year.
I was close to thinking before the season a 7-5 would be still sucky to me.
That's very sucky to me.
That's 8-4 is now we're talking about improvement.
Right, so if they lose, then you can go ahead and re-rack. Please don't suck.
I think so. I think you can I think you can re-rack. Please don't suck if they lose on Friday. But that's not. I'm not expecting. It's Kool-Aid Day today.
Kool-Aid Day.
It's Wednesday. This is the day. This is the day it gets cranked up because I'm not. What I'm not expecting is Kansas after what I saw last week. And yes, I didn't mean to belittle them. I'm just telling you that defense was god awful last week against Texas, just terrible. And I expect the Kansas State team to look at that film and run their running backs 5,000 times against Kansas, even in a rivalry game in Manhattan, senior day or senior night. Look out, that could get ugly. Could get uglier than last week. So I don't expect Kansas to make some great move on beating Kansas State to help out Texas.
They could,
but they could. It's a week-to-week
they're playing the game. They're playing the game.
It's a rivalry game. It's in state. It's for the bragging rights of the Sunflower State. And, again, who would have...
But you did see that defense, right?
Well, again, it's college football. Baylor almost beat TCU, and they looked horrible the week before against the
That's true. Their offense has not been playing very well. You're right.
K-State. So it's, is it an uphill battle for Texas? But look, first things first, you got to go beat the Baylor Bears. And
they're the defending champs.
And they're the defending Big 12 champs. They beat you last year in Waco. You owe them one. And this is an opportunity to finish strong. And I think 8-4 with 4 narrow losses that, were frustrating as they can be. I think you get to 8-4 and give yourself a chance. This Baylor game, it's been one of my off-season goals.
I think you've had a good year. I think you've had a really good
year.
Yes.
Solid, not spectacular. Could have been spectacular. Could have been a huge step forward. Could have been a massive year if you
you go off and then if you're not in the championship game and you win a bowl game and get 9 wins, that's now you're making real improvements.
But the Please Don't Suck song is kind of a good transition into this program has had a losing culture. It's been an average, mediocre football culture for years now.
Mm-hmm.
if you're Steve Sarkisian, you're trying to change that. You're trying to, and whether it was his fault at times or the players' fault, you got to learn to win games. You got to learn to finish football games, and
on a consistent basis,
on a consistent week in, week out basis, and that's what the great programs do. Texas was once a great program, more than a decade ago now, but you're trying to get back there, and you're showing some signs behind the scenes that you're with your recruiting and your development of players and those type of things. The momentum in the program is there. You just have to build that week-to-week culture, and this is a big step. It's a short week. You coming off a 55-14 beatdown of a team that, going into that game, we were worried. People were scared about Kansas because it was a road game, and Texas hadn't been great on the road. It was going to be cold, and they went in there and just plowed the Kansas Jayhawks.
Yeah, I mean, I know about every Saturday is different, but there comes that apprehension when you think of Texas when they're on the road, no matter who they're playing.
Sure,
it doesn't really matter.
And so hopefully they're starting to shed some of that.
Yes.
Losing mentality, mediocre mentality, and that's the goal. And to finish here and look, to go play in a bowl game, whether you play in the Big 12 title game or not, that would be a cherry on top. You would be a gift if Kansas can give you one on Saturday night. You got to take care of your business, but then go get ready for a bowl game. I mean, I saw some projections of them playing Notre Dame in a bowl game.
Wow.
There'd be some hype around that to play the Fighting Irish and Marcus Freeman and all that. Go win a bowl game, get the 9 wins, and set off into the off season.
And now you've had a very good year. The only thing that would make the icing on the cake is you get to play in that Big 12 championship game
and get another crack at TCU.
Oh yeah,
you showed you can play with them and beat them. You have to have a better offensive game plan. You have to be better on the offensive line, but your defense showed they can shut that group down for high majorities of the game. We'll see. It's going to be a fun
But you got to play
weekend.
This game on Friday. You have to be ready to play at 11 a.m. and you're playing. And I would think there would be a nice crowd. You're playing. You got your seniors. Say goodbye to them. Send them out. Everybody sends them out in a good way. They play like hell, and you get a win over Baylor. Anytime you get a win over Baylor, that's big. Whether you're having a losing season or a winning season, you got to beat them.
Yeah,
don't be losing to those jokers. You've lost 2 of the last 3.
That's exactly right. Cowboys haven't won many Turkey Day games of late. We'll get you details on that coming up. Cowboys play tomorrow against the New York Football Giants. What's your feel on this? The Giants have been over their skis, I think, all year long, overplaying their talent. With Brian Daboll, first-year head coach.
I just don't think Daniel Jones has anybody to throw it to. Saquon, Cowboys going to put the stuffer on him. That's their number one target is Saquon Barkley. If they stop him, Daniel Jones is going to have to do an awful lot of running against the Cowboys.
Well, it's a critical game because both teams are 7-3. The Giants and Cowboys played on Monday Night Football back in September, and the Cowboys won that game. We'll remember the CeeDee Lamb one-handed catch in the back corner of the end zone from Cooper Rush, which became the difference in the game, and the Cowboys' defense was outstanding. But the winner of this game moves to 8-3 and puts themselves, firmly behind 9-1 Philadelphia. The loser, you lose this game tomorrow, you're falling to 7-4, and all of a sudden you're 3 games back of the Philadelphia Eagles in that division, and you're going to be a wild card team. That's if you can even make the playoffs at that point for either one of these sides.
You got to be careful from that point on.
Yeah, you're already looking up at the Eagles, and obviously the division champs. That's a huge thing in NFL football to win the division. If not, you're going to be a wild card team, and potentially on the road come the playoffs. Which you're trying to maximize your playoff opportunity. And the Cowboys look like a team that can do some damage come playoff time. Right? They haven't of late, but January this team plays great defense. They can run the ball. They're going to get Tyron Smith back. They may sign Odell Beckham Jr., but, man, you got to take care of your business tomorrow. You cannot cough this game up at home, and the Cowboys have been bad on Turkey Day for a while now. When was the last time they won a Turkey Day game, Ty? Was it 2018?
It's been a while. I couldn't tell you.
I think they're 3-7 in their last 10 Thanksgiving Day games.
And I love their chances. And Daniel Jones will be looking over his shoulder for Micah Parsons all day.
Yeah. No, it's...
And especially if he takes off and starts running with the football. You better start sliding now. He likes to run things through. You better start thinking about sliding this week.
But that's the one thing they have going for him. Daniel Jones doesn't have a lot of people to throw to, but he's such a.
Oh, he can run.
His toughness has really shown through. Brian Daboll's coaching. He's overcoaching his talent here right now, in my opinion, in New York. And remember, this also could be the game for Odell Beckham Jr. Odell's considering the Giants too, in addition to the Cowboys, and the winner of this game may become the front runner.
True.
Because it'll be a big step forward. I think the Cowboys are rightfully a big favorite in this game, but again, the Turkey Day thing has not been good to them. For whatever reason, they have not been great on Thanksgiving, but this is the best version of the Cowboys we've seen. They were a 12-win team a year ago, and they lost on Turkey Day. So you got to stand up and get this one if you're the Dallas Cowboys and you really are you got to follow up that beat down in Minnesota, right?
E, what did you think of the college playoff call with LSU in front of USC? They're trying their best to get 2 SEC teams in there, but it doesn't matter because LSU is not going to beat Georgia.
I do have thoughts on that. Let's pick it up on the other side of that because I know that's the big because there wasn't much to say about the top 4. It stayed the same for the 3rd straight week with the undefeateds. That'll obviously change this week with the Ohio State
Number 5
Michigan
means
game.
a lot.
Number 5 means a lot, and I'll tell you why I think they have LSU ahead right now of USC, but I think that can change next week. But we'll get you details and thoughts on that, plus some B&E facts of the day. And I have a little stat for you folks out there who say nobody cares about soccer. Anytime we talk about the World Cup or Austin FC, we get the knuckleheads that go, nobody cares about soccer. I will diffuse that argument one more time when we come back. First, though, it's Craig Way. Wednesday on the Horn, getting you up over the hump, but really getting you up into holiday time. Thanksgiving tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Hope you get to spend some time and watch some football and eat some food and be festive to launch the holiday season. And we're going to talk a lot of football. How about the other football, Buck? Global football, soccer?
Yes.
How about this little note? You know, it's funny. You see them. I see them. Ty sees them. But anytime we talk soccer, Austin FC, Glenn Davis comes on, our World Cup expert. We always get, nobody cares about soccer. Well, how about this? Not only is Austin FC had 36 consecutive sellouts to start the franchise, and they have a waiting list for tickets because nobody likes soccer in this area. How about this number, that the USA game against Wales on Monday, USA game against Wales, the TV ratings are out for that.
Austin break the record again.
It drew 8.3 million viewers across the United States through Fox and Fox's streaming platform. Peak viewership about 9.5 million towards the end of the game. Top 5 market ratings, number 1, Austin. Number 1 market in the country for soccer on Monday was Austin, Texas, followed by Cincinnati, Dallas, San Diego, and Philadelphia. So safe to say a lot of people in Austin do like their soccer. And so you'll have to choose on Friday. You'll have the Longhorns from 11 until 1, and then at 1, you got to have 2 TVs going because that's when the World Cup will start, and the USA will play England in a massive game. Massive match.
Oh, it's huge for the United States.
Glenn Davis will have a World Cup update coming up in our next hour. He will have them throughout the course of the tournament. Ty, what's your feel on, because, by the way, congratulations to Ty Henderson, our aspiring professional gambler producer, who gave you Maction last night, gave you Ohio.
Yes, he did.
They were +7?
-7.
-7, but they won bad, 38-10. They beat Bowling Green, so another winner for TY. What are you feeling tomorrow or Friday on the pitch there over in Qatar?
I will be going with the tie. I think that's best case.
You're going with the tie.
Another
tie.
Ty likes the tie.
I think that would be good. If we get a tie or a draw against them and then beat Iran, I think we should be good.
And Mexico got a draw yesterday.
Yeah, there's been a lot of surprising results. I'm like, hey, Japan about to play Germany at 7 a.m. I like Japan. You
need to get off of that. You should get off of that one.
The underdogs have been coming through. Croatia and I think it was Morocco. They drew 0-0 this morning as well.
A lot of 0-0s going on here. But yeah, so obviously a lot of folks in Austin do like their soccer, without a doubt. Yeah, that's your schedule today. Morocco and Croatia, and then Germany, Japan, Spain, Costa Rica, and Belgium and Canada today throughout the group play continuing. Yesterday, I know a lot of folks with Team Mexico were excited. They played to a 0-0 draw with Poland to start their play in the World Cup.
Hey, try to put it in the net, y'all.
Try to put the biscuit in the basket.
Poland missed a late penalty kick in that one, too. They could have won.
Goaltender made an incredible stop.
Ochoa.
That was huge. And so he's now a national hero in Mexico because obviously if he doesn't get that stop, which is very difficult to do, they are a loser in their first match of group play. So soccer is happening. A lot of folks in town taking that in. Also, we were talking about the college football playoff, and I know the controversial side is that USC with 1 loss is behind LSU with 2. And I know people are all worked up. I saw Joel Klatt with a tweet about it being indefensible and the committee's a failed experiment. You know me, Buck. I'm pretty consistent on this. I don't get too – I just see it as a working document, essentially.
It just keeps moving.
It's a work in progress.
Right.
And I guess I can understand. Look, if you're the committee and you're looking at LSU versus USC and you're trying to say who's more accomplished to this point, I think that's what it's always about. Who's more accomplished? Who's done more this year? It's an eyelash, right? The Trojans have beaten Oregon State and UCLA. Those are their best 2 wins by a lot. Their loss is to Utah. So, LSU lost the first game of the year when they missed an extra point, and they lost to Florida State in kind of a weird fluky game on Labor Day. But then their other loss was at home to Tennessee, who's a top 10 team. They also own wins, the LSU Tigers do, over Alabama, the 7th-ranked team, and a team that they have power rated really high. And
Arkansas?
And they've got wins over. I mean, so this is where I think they look at the SEC as a stronger conference as a whole than the Pac-12.
Sure.
I think most would agree.
Yep.
They've navigated that conference with just 1 loss in the SEC to this point. And so the wins that they've put on the board over Alabama, who's the 7th-ranked team in the country, and The Ole Miss win is a big one, who's a really good team. I think they look at it as a more accomplished schedule. But here's the thing for USC, why I say it's a work in progress. If they beat Notre Dame this week and then they win the Big 12 championship game, all LSU has left is to play Texas A&M on Saturday.
And those Aggies will get it done.
Well, even if they beat a 3-win Aggie team,
they've got to play Georgia.
4-win Aggie team, right? Here's what I believe. And if I'm wrong, I'll be as outraged at the committee as everybody else appears to be. If they beat the Aggies and then USC beats Notre Dame in the rivalry game on Saturday and they're still behind LSU, I'll have a problem with that. Because at that point, I think in a really close debate, USC is more accomplished at that point with another win over another ranked team. Meanwhile, the LSU Tigers beat a 7-loss Aggie team. That, to me, would split the difference. And guess what? The USC would then have another chance to make another case in the Pac-12 championship game.
And so would LSU.
Yeah, wouldn't it kind of settle itself out in the championship games?
It
if they
does.
both win this week?
Yeah. And so if LSU wins and they get to the championship game, if they beat Georgia,
they got to be in.
Then they're the more accomplished team.
It just makes people upset because as the fan bases, they want to be excited and happy for a week, and things change every week, Well, let us be happy. Let us be excited. USC fans want to be excited that we're in the top 5 and we still have a chance. Well, you still have a chance.
Well, what happens if LSU beats Georgia, Michigan, or I mean, I guess they're both undefeated, so it doesn't matter who wins there. TCU wins out, and USC wins out. That you have an issue there. You have one-loss teams.
Well, if Georgia loses in their championship game, Georgia's still going.
Yeah, but LSU has to go at that point, and they're a 2-loss team, and then you would have
they'll be the first. That would be the
teams.
first 2-loss team in, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, if they beat Georgia, somebody's not making it.
Well, look, I mean, again, the phrase I like to look at it and see it as most accomplished. If LSU beats A&M, then turns around and beats Georgia,
they're in somehow.
They're more accomplished than USC, right? They just will be. The SEC is significantly stronger a conference than the Pac-12, and that's apologies to USC. And I don't want to say you just dismissed the Florida State loss week 1, but I don't. It's about who's playing the best football right now.
But I don't think that the committee is going to do it to TCU. If they go straight on through, they're not going to all of a sudden at 4 say, no, guess who's more accomplished.
So who gets screwed over, the Big Ten team and USC there? In that scenario, if everyone
yes,
wins?
So
I think
if LSU beats Georgia, you're saying, and then it's LSU and Georgia and TCU are in, the winner of Ohio State, Michigan will be in. And that'll be it. That'll be your Final
Four. It doesn't matter what USC does?
No. The undefeateds will stay in. Georgia will remain in because of the schedule that they've played.
Yeah,
and the
Georgia's going to be
beaten.
in. Yeah.
And I think Georgia's pretty secure in that spot.
Sure.
They got to play Georgia Tech on Saturday in their in-state rival. But again, I don't think it's all going to matter. I think if USC wins out, LSU's not beating Georgia, by the way, in the SEC championship game. And when that game goes the other way, USC will just win your games, and
That's
USC
it.
I think is going to be fine. Now, again, we can have the debate when it's over, when the puzzle pieces are all played and every game is played, and they're still. If people think USC is getting screwed, then I'll be on board with that. But at this point, I think it's a strong argument that LSU is more accomplished than USC to this point. LSU can change that narrative with 2 more wins over 2 ranked teams in the next 2 weekends.
Yeah, you got to beat Georgia. Beat Georgia.
Look, I think if they beat Notre Dame this week and LSU beats the Aggies, I still think USC is going to jump them.
You think they'll go back that following week?
I think it'll come out 5-6 the other way. Because at that point, it's another data point. USC now has another win over a quality ranked opponent. Because remember, Notre Dame, although they have a loss to Marshall and a loss to Stanford, they've also beaten North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
They've beaten Clemson. They've beaten Syracuse. This could be a huge win for USC if they can get it for Lincoln Riley. I think they would jump LSU in the next rankings, which will come out next Tuesday. All right, we'll come back, take your thoughts on that, get your headlines, get your coach's corner. Got to hear from Steve Sarkisian. Longhorns looking to get to an 8-win season and beat the Baylor Bears. We'll hear how they're going to do it coming next on B&E. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK, folks. If you are still dealing with glasses and contacts and vision that can be corrected, that's the cool part. 9 of 10 people who go in and see the folks at Sharp Vision learn pretty quickly that, they have a procedure that can get you corrected vision. They can get you out of the glasses, get you out of the contacts. I'll say that again, 9 of 10. That's 90% of you who are still dealing with the contacts and the glasses on the daily can have that corrected. And you're going to have it with Sharp Vision by the best of the best, right? Dr. Nicholas Lancaster has been voted 3 years in a row now by the Austin American Statesman's Best of the Best rankings and poll, voted by the people as the best in the corrective eye surgeon LASIK category. So it's a dynasty right there. So they have a procedure for you. You get the best that there is in this area and anywhere, and then they can help you save a lot of money. You know, that FSA that you're saving money into, your flexible spending account, that can save you 20 to 40% on your procedure by using that pre-tax income. LASIK also, they have procedures starting as low as $495 per eye, and they have guaranteed financing as well to make this thing happen for you. So do what I did, do it so many others have. Schedule your free consultation with our great friends at Sharp Vision, and you'll be working with the best of the best. You get that easy eye test, figure out what's going on and what they can do for you. They're great people, and all you have to do is call them 596-2020. That's 512-596-2020, or go online. Book an appointment right there. Sharp-vision.com. That's sharp with an E. Vision.com. It's Sharp Vision Modern LASIK, the official LASIK provider of Austin FC. Start up your Wednesday right here on B&E. Start up your Thanksgiving holiday. It begins whenever you're done today. A lot of folks probably already off and heading out. I did mention driving in this morning, my normal 4:45 commute, 4:40. A lot of traffic. A lot of folks out.
Oh, yeah.
Getting up, getting out, maybe getting an early start on a travel trip. They're heading somewhere, getting final work done so you can clear it out and head out for Thanksgiving. Be advised, take your umbrellas, take your rain gear. Looks like a wet one coming for sure into Thanksgiving. I just saw this note from the meteorologist over at CBS Austin, Avery Tomasco. He said, fairly significant update with our new morning data. Our next storm system is looking slower, meaning storms likely on Thursday, with Friday now trending towards a total washout thanks to the slower motion.
Oh, no.
Live update through 7 a.m. So, obviously, Thanksgiving Day looks like a really wet one, and there was hope that by Friday this thing would clear through and wouldn't wash out totally the Friday. But
he's just guessing, correct? You need me. You need the Farmer's Almanac guy to let you straight on that, or is he just going to guess?
I'm going to guess you're going to need your poncho at the football game on Friday morning, and maybe even at your high school games if you're headed to them. What time is your high school game? 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we can get out of that. But looking pretty wet. And how about tomorrow? Temperatures in the 70s. So the 40s we've been dealing with for the last 5 or 6 days is going to flip to 70 degrees, but rainy, 56 and rainy on Friday.
So my outlet run, before, Friday before that 6 o'clock game, it's going to be tough. They don't care at the outlets. They'll come with ponchos. They don't care. They'll have bandanas on their heads. They'll do anything to get to that mall on a Friday.
Well, Thursday looks like thunderstorms, right? So you're dealing with lightning and such. The Friday just looks like rain. And so, Bevo Boulevard, our pregame, the game itself at 11, and then all the high school games Friday. I will say that if you're looking for optimism, Saturday and Sunday look gorgeous.
Oh, absolutely. And next week looks pretty good.
Yeah, bright and sunny. Finally, well, we feel like we're living in Seattle here the last few weeks. But 63 on Saturday and sunny, 71 and sunny on Sunday. So the weekend looks really nice if you can deal with it.
I need to end that Christmas shopping come Friday. That's when it's over with. Done.
Well, look, if you're
not into December whatsoever.
Hey, tomorrow you're going to be laying up watching football.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe go play some mud football in the morning. You ever do that? When
the families used to get together?
Oh, the mud football game?
Somebody always went to the hospital. Somebody got stitches.
Easy.
Oh, you're missing a tooth over there.
Wasn't a ball game if somebody didn't get stitches.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's just the way that goes. But that's going to be and the ground will be soft, right? If you're going to fall in the mud and fall in the puddles.
I quit doing that when my brothers and sisters started being able to catch up to me.
That's I always tell my older brother, because we used to compete. We're only like 17 months apart or whatnot. So we would compete like crazy. And when I finally got to where I could beat him, he quit and he started playing guitar. Took up music. I'm like, what? I finally caught you. Now you're going to go be in a rock and roll band?
You want to be one of the Backstreet Boys then?
Come on,
Come on now.
No, he was rock and roll. It was straight up rock, man. By the way, speaking of that, I was watching I finally got around to watching a little bit of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction last night. It was taped a couple weeks ago. Really good. Really good. Duran Duran and then Pat Benatar and Lionel Richie.
Was Pat still wearing leather?
Pat Benatar still looks pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. She was a rocker's rocker in the 80s, man.
She was black leather.
Her and her husband, Neil Giraldo, went in together, which I thought was pretty cool. But, man, just a who's who. Really cool show.
Did my girl Carly Simon go in
She
this
did.
year?
That's
she
the
did,
one.
Didn't she?
I didn't finish it.
Big Frizzy?
I got to Carly, and she wasn't there because 2 of her sisters have recently passed, and so she's grieving.
She's an older woman now.
And
yes.
she went in. And I'll say this, that young girl, Olivia Rodrigo, came out and sang You're So Vain. And she's like 19 or something, and she killed it. Like, she just killed it. That classic hit. But your girl Carly, yes. I think of you I can't see her big mouth and not think of you.
Oh, neither can I. Are you kidding me?
I know. Well, if I do, you have the experience with her on Martha's Vineyard for crying out loud.
She was quite something else.
Did she swallow you?
No, dude. No. I can't give away all that stuff.
She was frizzy. Her hair was kind of big.
I just say she had a lot of hair.
James Taylor, huh? James Taylor was her dude. Okay, let's get to your headlines, your trending topics to start your Wednesday morning. It's a busy one. UBEO Business Services brings it to you. Start with college football playoff rankings, which remain unchanged at the top for a third consecutive week. Defending champion Georgia remains in the 1 spot, followed by fellow undefeateds Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. All three of those teams survived major upset scares this past Saturday to stick in the top 4. LSU comes in at number 5 with 2 losses, ahead of 1 loss, USC. That's raised some controversy. Rankings certain to change this week because the Buckeyes, of course, are going to host the Wolverines, one of the games of the year in college football, Saturday in Columbus. That game kicks at 11 o'clock. Georgia, by the way, is going to wrap up their regular season with Georgia Tech. TCU will close out the regular season with Iowa State in Fort Worth. For the Longhorns, clear path for them to get to the Big 12 championship game. Longhorns come in 22nd in the college football playoff rankings. They're only the highest-ranked 4-loss team in the top 25, but their path to the trip to Arlington in a rematch with TCU. They have to beat Baylor this Friday morning at DKR. Then the team will they'll need the team they just pummeled, the Kansas Jayhawks, to go to Manhattan and beat K-State in that battle for bragging rights in the Sunflower State. First things first, Steve Sarkisian and the Longhorns must protect their home field against the Baylor Bears, who are coming off a really stinging loss to TCU on Saturday.
Tough losses happen, man, and they took the number 4 team in the country to the brink, to the last second. But in the end, that's what our conference is about. It's tough. Big 12 is a tough conference, man. Week in and week out, you got to play, ultimately your best football to come out on top. So they're a very good football team, very well coached, and I know they'll be hungry Friday at 11 a.m.
That's right, Coach. 11 a.m. They'll kick this thing off, Senior Day, so get there early with your poncho on. Pregame coverage for us goes live at 7 a.m. from Bevo Boulevard. Across the Austin Radio Network. This Friday's game, of course, could be the last one at DKR for the phenomenal running back Bijan Robinson. Yesterday, the junior from Tucson named one of the 10 finalists for the Doak Walker Award. Of course, that honors the nation's top running back annually. Kansas State's Deuce Vaughn and TCU's Kendre Miller also among the final 10. Winner will be announced on December the 8th. One other college football note, Kansas and their head coach Lance Leipold reached an agreement on a contract extension yesterday. That'll extend him through the 2029 season. Light night in the NBA. All 3 Texas teams took the night off. 76ers did spoil the Ben Simmons return to Philly in the marquee game as the 76ers beat the Nets 115-106. Good night of college basketball. Of course, they're playing the Maui Invitational out on the islands. 21st-ranked Texas Tech walloped Louisville 70-36. 14th-ranked Arizona took down 17th-ranked San Diego State 87-70. And how about 10th-ranked Creighton? 10th-ranked Creighton, the Blue Jays, they topped 9th-ranked Arkansas 90-87.
If I'm a player, I'm not going over to Sark's house to watch that game at night. I don't want to see my head coach crying if things don't work out the right way, because they'll all be thinking about those 3 games. I don't know if you're a coach, which one are you feeling that you let slip away? TCU, Alabama, or Texas Tech? Or you can say all 3, but which one in particular kind of grinds you a little bit?
I've even put the Alabama game in there. I think that's a game that was there to be won, and Texas actually took the lead late. And we know how the non-holding calls and a couple things late, and Bryce Young making plays. All 4 of those were stinging losses. The 2 at home.
Oh, the Tech one is the one that gets.
Yeah, look, I mean, I said yesterday, I can't dismiss. They're all winnable.
Sure.
That's why I think an 8-4 season for Texas is strong, solid at whatever. But at the same time, this season had a chance to be spectacular. Potentially,
I thought so for sure.
With better fourth quarter coaching and play. And I'll forgive the TCU and the Alabama games because that's number 4 and number 7 in the country. Then you could argue they're just better than you right now as programs.
Sure,
more experienced. The Texas Tech game.
No, that's the one. That's the one in my mind. That's the one I look at and go, "You really?"
Well, and I was at the Oklahoma State game, so maybe that one stings too. You had 31 points on the board at the halftime.
But that one was always a question. That was always a question mark before the season. The Texas Tech game was not.
But I would also say since that game in Stillwater, Oklahoma State has been shown to be not a very good football team.
Sure.
Your quarterback played a bad game that day, and you coached a terrible second half. And those are the 2 that just really sting, because if you win one of those 2, the Tech game or the Oklahoma State game, you're playing to go to the Big 12 title game on Friday morning.
That's right.
You control your destiny.
You're not waiting for somebody else.
You're not needing any help.
And so I more so the Texas Tech game is the one I look at. And as you said, TCU, yeah, you were right there, and your defense played great, but that was the number 4 team in the nation. That can just happen to you. Their program is just in a better place right now this year for sure. You can lose that game, but as you said, Alabama was one of them. But the Texas Tech game is the one I look back at and go, damn.
Yeah, it's one of those, you could argue that's how football goes, that Joey McGuire threw the kitchen sink. They went for it 8 times on 4th down, got 6 of them. You got to make a stop at the same time.
Yes, you do. Absolutely. You can't fumble.
You can't fumble. Bijan Robinson, your best player, puts it on the ground in overtime after your backup quarterback led you down the field in like 20 seconds to kick a field goal, which was huge. You had a young field goal kicker that you weren't sure about in Bert Auburn who nails a kick. You're in overtime. You feel like you have a chance to go get this game back. And Bijan fumbles, and Jatavion Sanders missed a block on that play. Just frustrating. And but again, that's better than where we were a year ago. If you're a Texas fan, you're thinking 5-7, we stink. Well, now you're thinking about 4 really close losses that you can put some on the coaching. Steve Sarkisian is big on saying we're the coaches. We write the script, right? We write the script. The players have to go play.
Yeah, you are the actors in this.
You're the actors in this deal, and so the player accountability is big. And I think Steve Sarkisian knows, because I do think, again, I'll always believe that giving Hudson Card a chance at Stillwater might have given you a better chance to win that game. It's nothing against Quinn Ewers or an indictment on him. It was just on that given day, he clearly didn't have it in the win.
And on that given day, your head coach is supposed to win a football game.
Yeah, and I think, again, can I guarantee you when Hudson Card comes in and anything's better or different? No. It just felt like they needed a jump start. And same thing for the TCU game that was here.
Oh, yeah.
It was there to be won 3-0 at the half, and your defense is playing up in a tree. Those are the ones that I think Sark will look back on and evaluate. And
I would say TCU. I would say Texas Tech, TCU, Alabama.
But that's a big step forward. But you got to. Is that going to be the norm now, that you're going to not be able to finish games? And that's why we talk about Steve Sarkisian with a 500 winning percentage as a head coach.
Is that just the way it is? Is that just the way he is?
That's what you hope, right? This can't be the ceiling.
No.
If you're Steve Sarkisian now. It feels like you and I were on the radio when Mac Brown began to build the program into a championship level program. It took steps.
Mm-hmm.
Year 2 was year 2, and they went and won 9 games, or 8-9 games, got to a bowl game. This is where this program is. It does feel like that as far as the recruiting momentum.
But you just had you had that feeling from the players and the type of players that Mac had, that on certain given Saturdays, that group over there is not going to beat Texas.
Well, look, Tom Herman was doing a decent job recruiting and bringing in players. He recruited Bijan Robinson. He recruited Roschon Johnson. He recruited Coburn and these guys, right? Mm-hmm. He and his staff. They just weren't developing players. I mean, they just were not developing guys. And I think when I say momentum in the program, we know the recruiting class last year was stellar, especially on the offensive line, and the addition of Quinn Ewers through the portal and, what they've done. We know this recruiting class that's coming is stacking up to be equally good or better, headlined by Arch Manning. We also know that coming up in April, I think you're going to see 5 or 6 Longhorns get drafted, including Bijan Robinson, likely in the first round. We haven't seen that in a long time, where this program is delivering talent to the National Football League. This is the momentum and the direction you're talking about, but you got to build on it. You got to continue to, and you got to learn as a program and as a coaching staff to close out games, to win football games.
Yeah, it has to be consistent week in, week out.
And you still got to win a game on Friday. Or else I think 7-5 would be a hugely disappointing season for the Longhorns.
Tied for you, 7-5? No.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Hey, can we dive into that Coach's Corner? Coach's Corner. It's brought to you by Audio Visual Consultations. This guy says past performance is indicative of future results. Well, that's the thing that Steve Sarkisian has got to change. He's got to change.
Yeah,
I would also point out when that overall record, last year was a mess. We know that 5-7. There was a lot of cleaning out to do with players that didn't want to be here. And that happened. The roster turned over year to year, and it's a much more talented roster this year. He also, when he got to Washington as his first-time head coach, he inherited an 0-12 team. So there was some building to do there, obviously. And USC, we know he had personal issues that kind of derailed his opportunity to take that job. He's in a different place in his life now, in his late 40s. And so, you have to take the past and look at it. But at the same time, I thought what Steve Sarkisian did last December and into January, evaluating the program, changes being made on the coaching staff and, the transfer portal, I think he showed an ability to be a CEO and say, these are the changes we have to make if we're going to get going.
Well, I know in my mind, looking at this team, it's a team that has grown up.
Yeah. And can you take that next step, finish this game Friday,
yes.
At least sit back on Saturday night and watch this Kansas State game, hoping that you get a gift, and if you don't, then start getting ready for this offseason and getting ready for a bowl game and do it again.
Yeah,
evaluate what needs to be evaluated.
It's a team that still makes some little mistakes, and so does the head coach, but it's not a team that just totally folds it up. Tom Herman's teams didn't just fold up; they played hard all the way through. But I think this team, this group right here, can really not only evaluate talent, but I think they can make the talent better. But they still have some little things that they have to get through. When we start talking about culture, culture is about winning. You got to get in that winning mode. That guess what? We don't lose this Saturday. It doesn't matter how it looks or what it looks like. We win the game. At the end of the day, we got more points than you. No matter how we did it.
That's right.
No matter how crappy we may have done.
Well, and look, we're as Longhorn fans that are out there. You have been treated to mediocre football for 12 years now.
Yes,
11 years or 12, and this is the year where it feels like it's getting better. And I think patience is in an immediate gratification time that we're in. I think this is a coaching staff and a coach that's going to put this thing on a good trajectory. Same time, it's fair to criticize the fourth quarters and the games that weren't finished. And,
because you want it to be better.
Sure you do. Sure you do. Somebody said, guys, Michigan was patient with Harbaugh, and it's paying off now. Well, and I think Sark will get it there faster than it took Michigan. But
yes, I do too.
Jim Harbaugh built the program in his image. He, wasn't going to be for immediate gratification. He was going to build with lines of scrimmage and physicality and toughness, and that's what they are. And it's paid off for Michigan for sure, because there were times when it looked like they were going to not stick with him. Real quick on the college football playoff rankings, Buck, here in our Coach's Corner, brought to you by Audio Visual Consultations. I know it's a weekly broken record now, but this constant bashing, and it's not by the college football crew as much as it is the talking heads at ESPN, the Stephen A. Smiths and that crew, of just belittling TCU. I don't understand how somebody at ESPN, didn't ESPN just re-up with the Big 12? Like, didn't they just spend a lot of money to bring the Big 12 into their fold again, and ABC will carry the Big 12 championship game? They continue to belittle TCU, and they clearly don't want TCU to be in the Final Four because they don't know anything about them. I again go to ESPN's Power Rankings, in which they have a category under Resume Ranks that is called SOR, which stands for Strength of Record, right? Reflects the chance to an average top 25 team would have a better record. Strength of schedule played from a perspective of SBF team. So it's called Strength of Record. Number one in the poll is TCU. The number one strength of record, higher than Michigan, Ohio State, and Georgia. And you look at their strength of schedule, 35th overall in the metrics, which is higher than Georgia, Ohio State, or Michigan. I don't know how someone at ESPN can't point out to these clowns, hey, y'all, you sound like fools.
That's your record. That's your deal.
Stop saying TCU hasn't played anybody. You can't go on national television, worldwide television, and say that. It's not true. Just because you don't know the teams in the Big 12. The Big 12, one of its worst teams this year is Iowa State. Iowa State beat Iowa this year, and Iowa's going to play for the Big Ten championship in 2 weeks. What is that commentary on the Big Ten, the mighty Big Ten, where it's Ohio State and Michigan? Quit belittling TCU because you don't know anything about them. That's just my rant.
There you go.
And your own rankings show clearly.
That's what I'm saying. Your own rankings that you guys put out.
You put them out on your website.
A lot of these talking points are just trying to piss people off, too.
Yeah, but
it's just trying to get people talking.
I understand, but when it's factually inaccurate, it should be debated, right? It should be pointed out.
It's very annoying.
You can have opinions. I mean, we can sit here all day and talk about LSU versus USC and the 2 losses versus 1 loss and who's more accomplished and all that. That's the argument. You can't go on television and say TCU hasn't played anybody.
They're trying to act like TCU's Cincinnati from last year.
Oh, I know.
Very much so.
When it's not the case at all. The American Conference is a lot different than the Big 12.
Well, all I know is they're undefeated with 11 wins and still have a chance to win a championship, and going to play in a championship in their own conference. So from that point on, if they go undefeated, you're not going to be able to deny them, no matter what they say on TV.
And they need to win out.
Yeah, they need to win out.
But, I mean, I do think facts matter, and the facts would point out that TCU actually has played a stronger strength of record than the top 3 teams, and certainly more stronger than LSU or USC or Alabama.
And most of the guys who are screaming are NFL guys.
That's right. It's Stephen A. Smith. It's I saw him say yesterday that the clip that went viral that no one's going to watch the Big 12 championship game. Well, that's on your network, dude. That's probably not good. I mean, come on.
What conference is he a fan of? The Big Ten?
I don't know.
Does he even watch college football?
But that helps push the national narrative that the Big 12 is the second best conference this year. Big 12 is the second best conference this year behind the SEC. And because the Big Ten's not. The Big Ten is top heavy with 2 good teams, and the rest are pretty much garbage. Iowa's going to play for a championship. Iowa is not good. ACC, no. Pac-12?
No.
I mean, the Big 12 is the second best conference. So for TCU to run the table, be undefeated in this conference, and they still got to win 2 more games, I get it. Give them their credit. Give them their credit just because you don't know them.
As I said, give the fans their weekly due until the next week comes out, as long as they keep winning.
All right. Well,
keep their fans happy.
We shall see where that goes. But for Texas, they played Baylor. Longhorns are ranked this week. They're the only four rank, their highest ranked 4-loss team at 7-4. They're sitting there at 22 this week for the Texas Longhorns, and they'll play the Baylor Bears, the defending champions of the conference. We'll hear from Steve Sarkisian coming up. Also got to get into, we say we've got to jam a lot into this Wednesday. We'll get into the Cowboys and Giants matchup and the triple-header of the NFL tomorrow. As we get you rolling, Ty, we'll have our hot or not topics.
And are we getting close to that basketball game at Gregory Gym?
That's Saturday.
Yeah, baby.
Saturday, the Longhorns basketball team up to number 4 in the rankings will play UTRGV.
It's not a freebie, is it? Is that?
No, but you only fit 4,000 people in there. So I think the tickets are gone.
Camp out?
I don't know what, and it's not just for students. I think that was just for students last year.
Yeah, it's not just for students.
And obviously, it's happening on the Thanksgiving break, so a lot of students will be gone home for Thanksgiving. So I don't know. I'll check that. And if you know better than I do, can you find tickets to that game at Gregory Gym? That's Saturday, part of a busy sports weekend where you got to kind of keep up. You got NFL, college. You got the high school games coming up on Friday, which we'll get you caught up with on our flex schedule. Got college basketball this weekend. So keep your head on a swivel all the way through the NFL on Sunday. We'll come back. When we do, we'll dive into some of those NFL games tomorrow. Your Turkey Day triple header. We'll hit that next on B&E.
Folks, there was a time when my back was so dadgum bagged that they told me that I was not going to be able to play golf again. And I met Dr. Daniel Peterson at Austin Neurosurgeons. He's an expert and specializes in spinal health. And, of course, Dr. Dan has been working in the Austin area for over 28 years. And he's 100% invested in careful, safe, effective, non-invasive procedures focusing on spine health and management of nerve pain due to that spinal stenosis, which I have, and other neurological conditions. Now, it worked for me, and I'm able to play golf. Maybe not as well as I'd like to, but it does work for me for sure. Now, this is a fantastic guy. Now, go see Dr. Daniel Peterson at Austin Neurosurgeons. He's at the Arise Austin Medical Center. That's at 3003 B Caves Road. It's right there in Westlake and Rollingwood. And you'll find out more information at Arise Neurosurgeon. Of course, you'll find it at AustinNeurosurgeons.com. Now, when I had my back reconstructed, let me tell you this, folks. This has been fantastic because now I'm able to garden thanks to my good friend Dr. Daniel Peterson. So if you've got that problem from all the stuff that's going on, especially spinal stenosis, you've got to go see Dr. Daniel Peterson.
Happy Wednesday. Come and see us today at noon. We'll be out at actually 10 o'clock this morning with Light the Tower, our final Pluckers Wing Fan Lunch. It's been a great run this year. Really have been excited to work with the guys at Pluckers and our friends at Bud Light and Brown Distributing. What a great week. Year it's been. We'll have our final lunch at noon today. The South Lamar location. I'm pretty certain they have some tickets to give away to the Texas Baylor game on Friday. So come on out and see us there, have some wings, and get into your Turkey Day weekend with us at Pluckers. And again, thanks to Dave Paul and the team at Pluckers and Brown Distributing and Bud Light. They've been great with these. You know, the wing fans, Buck, not only get, and since I beat Dave Paul last time, again, we get free wings and a couple Bud Lights with you and a guest. Then you also get a cool Bud Light prize pack, which is really awesome. All kinds of cool stuff. So that's always fun today. We'll see you at noon. South Lamar,
Sweet.
Pluckers location, our last of the year.
How'd you do with the beer, helping out the folks there? The needy.
Well, we did okay, but let me just say thanks to the folks at Brown Distributing and Bud Light. They were so generous to help us with the wedding, and so much good cold brewski consumed, and everybody had a great time. But yeah, we're good on that front. We're also good on football. It is that time of the year, Buck. It's one of the great 4-day stretches of the sports calendar, especially when you throw in the World Cup. On top of the football, the feasting, and the fun and the family, you put a little global football on your toe, and here we go. But that's what we're going to get into. So here's how it goes, Buck. Tomorrow, we've got 3 NFL games. You know this, right?
Yes.
And you're ready. Noon, actually 11:30 in Detroit, Motown, the annual Detroit trip, and they get Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills tomorrow.
Bills haven't gone home, have they?
No, I wouldn't. Like 10 feet of snow on the ground. You see that they got 80 inches of snow. That's like come on now. Who wants to live there? Why do y'all live there?
Yeah, really.
But the Buffalo at 7-3 going into Detroit. Detroit's won 3 straight football games. Could this be an upset, Buck?
Probably not.
Could this be? Come on now. Let me tell you, Detroit has beaten Green Bay, Chicago, and the New York Giants in consecutive weeks. 3 in a row. Now they get the mighty Bills, who at times this year have not looked that mighty. But this feels like Buffalo's chance to really send a message to the rest of the NFL that, hey, we're still here. We're still Buffalo. We're still good.
Yeah, they got to give that shout out to Kansas City, Buffalo does. Hey, we're still around.
Yeah, I mean, they beat Kansas City in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
So head-to-head, they did their deal. But Josh Allen is still, he's 21 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Are we starting to see where their lack of a really consistent running game is still the problem for them?
Well, I mean, we also saw that they had a bunch of guys hurt in the secondary. They've played the last 3 or 4 games with not a full complement of guys. The Great Water in Detroit area now they're healthy and ready to go. Like you said, they didn't go back home. They didn't have to shovel out, 6 feet of snow.
Well, Buffalo, I mean, when they beat Kansas City in Kansas City, they just looked unbeatable. It's like, okay, no one's beating this team.
By the way, I'm not saying it's a paradise in Detroit either.
Well, pick one. Where would you rather live, Detroit or Buffalo?
Wow.
Ty, settle the bet.
Buffalo.
I got Detroit.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get Lake Michigan. Summers are pretty nice. I can find some good areas.
Casino and Canada just cross the river.
I don't want any part of Buffalo.
No? You want to be near Niagara Falls and all that stuff? You had enough of that? No?
Hey, also, I don't want to live in Michigan either. Good Lord.
That's what I'm saying. Think about that. Think about it.
Come on. All right, so that's the 11:30 game. 3:30, right about time to eat some dinner. How do y'all do this? Do you try to eat between the games? Like you eat
I'm home alone. I eat whenever I want to. And I can sit there butt naked with a plate of food.
You want to come to our house?
On my lap. No, dude.
We're not hosting Thanksgiving this year for the first time in a while.
No.
My brother and sister are going to do that because we just had a wedding.
I need some alone time, just me and the animals.
You got all weekend. Come over for an hour and have dinner with us. For crying out. My brother lives in Dripping. You can come right up and have some dinner. I'm inviting you if you want to come. Ty, you too. Because you're home alone too, are you not?
Ty is just
I'm going to
living
dinner
it up.
with my parents here.
Yeah, Ty is like, his girl is out of town and gone and wants to know, hey, you're not going to hang out while I'm gone, are you? Ty said, yeah, I'm in my 20s. I probably will be, but I'm just hanging out. That's all. Just hanging out.
Well, Giants-Cowboys, the 3:30 game, as we said, feels like Cowboys are favored by 9.5 points in this football game. The same line for the Lions and Bills. Bills are a 9.5-point favorite on the road in Detroit. Cowboys are almost 10-point favorite at home. And
I like that Cowboys game. That doesn't scare me, the 9.5 at home. I just don't see their quarterback. I don't know who he's gonna throw to, but he's gonna be on the run all day. He's gonna be run, and I know he can run and he can do some things, but sometimes that big tall dude doesn't slide. And Micah Parsons is probably gonna put a beat down on him from behind somehow.
Well, I think the Cowboys can turn it, but they have not been good on Thanksgiving, and I agree with you. That's where there's a reason they're a 10-point favorite. They're 3-7 in their last 10 Thanksgiving games. That's not good. But at the same time, they're a better team than the Giants. They've already beaten the Giants in New York on Monday Night Football. You got to feel okay about it. And you're right. I mean, how are they going to move the football? Saquon Barkley is their number one weapon. They showed last week they could stop Dalvin Cook. They also could stop Justin Jefferson. This feels like a mismatch. But who did the Cowboys lose to last year on Thanksgiving? T.Y.?
I think the Rams, maybe.
I
don't know. I'll have to look.
I'll look.
I don't remember for a reason.
You've tried to forget it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You've attempted to forget that. I'll find that and have it for you with our last few Thanksgiving games. But
I still got my Cowboys going to the
was it Denver?
Super Bowl.
Was it Denver?
The
that came
Broncos.
The
Broncos don't beat anybody.
Yes,
Come on. Yeah, the Broncos defense was playing great.
I mean, and then the night game. By the way, if you're chewing on it, and if you still got the turkey dinner going, they're going to be the Patriots and the Vikings. So we get some good teams. I mean, we get a Bills
the Raiders.
team.
They
What do you
lost
mean?
to the Raiders.
They lost to the Raiders in overtime last year.
The Raiders beat them with Rich Bisaccia,
Coach Rich.
Coach Rich, who they should have never fired, by the way,
No kidding.
because Josh McDaniels a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. This says he's inviting everyone to dinner at someone else's house. Yeah, that's true. My brother won't care if you don't eat much. You kind of eat like a bird anyway.
Yeah. I just pick around. I'll be at Hoover's.
You'll be.
Yeah, man.
My brother lives in Belterra. That's closer than Hoover's.
Ooh, yeah.
Come on down. Patriots, Vikings, the night game. So we get to see, I think we get to see 2, 3, maybe 4 Super Bowl contenders here. Well, 3. Bills are a contender for the Super Bowl. Cowboys are shown they're a contender at 7-3. Vikings, who the Cowboys just flattened.
They're not.
Detroit.
3
in a row.
There you go. 3 in a row, Detroit.
But no. Detroit's trying to win my bet with you to be better than the Bears when it's all said and done. Remember when we were watching Hard Knocks this year, and I said I don't think the Lions will finish in last place. I think they'll be better than the Bears, and the Bears are now going to be without Justin.
Yeah, they're
Fields
shutting him
this
down,
week.
and that's a smart thing to do.
Smart thing to do. And the Patriots and Vikings. How about Bill Belichick against? Oh, you know what that is on Sunday night if you're going to be or Thursday night. Sorry, if you're going to be gambling. Kirk Cousins in primetime.
Kirk boy.
Cousins,
Lock it in.
Kirk Cousins in primetime. The Vikings are a 2.5-point favorite.
Are they trying to? And then New England trying to stay in a playoff hunt?
They are in it.
6-4.
Well, yeah, because the Jets are going to falter. You can go kiss that deal goodbye.
The Jets are the eighth seed.
Yeah.
AFC right now.
Well, and that performance by Zach Wilson, whose mom's got it going on.
Yeah.
They're frustrated.
But he's got their own players calling him out.
Well, he just looked so immature. He really wet the bed in that game. He was scared. He was not. He didn't play like a.
He go PP.
He go PP. That's what it
Really?
looked like against the Patriots on Sunday. He wilted. I mean, he's not ready for this.
I think they scored like 3 points in the last 2 games. They've not been very good.
They had barely over 100 yards total offense last week.
It was terrible.
Man.
It was terrible. And through 2 years now, Zach Wilson, who was the second pick, remember they drafted him over Justin Fields in New York. He is putting up numbers that are reminiscent of Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out if that is going to be the guy.
It's not. It's not. I don't care if he's Joe Namath sleeping with his mom's best friend. It doesn't matter. He's not very good. But that whole division has winning records, right? Miami, Buffalo, 7-3, New England 6-4, Jets 6-4. So critical games on Sunday.
I'm kind of with you on this Dolphin thing. They've got good defense, fantastic offense. Tua, after he went to my fall camp, has been doing fantastic. He hadn't hit the ground the wrong way lately. And they're hard to stop, period. I don't know how you stop that group.
Yeah,
especially with the new running back there. That's a hard group to corral. They look like a team, Ty, that's always going to be 21 points or more somehow, some way.
Well, when Tua's been in the game, for crying out loud, I mean,
they've won. They won them all.
Remember way back in week 2, they put 42 on Baltimore. They beat Buffalo. Then, of course, the Thursday night game they lost. That's the game in which Tua, the really scary scene, and got hurt. Then he didn't play in the Jets game, and they lost. Then he didn't play in the Minnesota game, and they lost. He came back, They beat Pittsburgh, they beat Detroit, they beat Chicago, they beat Cleveland, and this week they play the Houston Texans. Ooh, how much are they going to beat the Texans by at Hard Rock Stadium on Sunday?
3 TDs.
Because Houston's dreadful. So yeah, they're going to win that game. But then, how about that? The following week, when we get back, we'll be previewing their trip to San Francisco, and how much fun will that be when the Dolphins play the 49ers? And that's Mike McDaniel, of course, was with Kyle Shanahan. That's where he came from. Run a very similar.
Yeah, you're
system.
going to find out about their physicality and all this cuteness
right.
they play on offense.
Well, coming off the bye, Miami gets Houston, so they're going to get the slump buster.
Oh,
They'll
boy.
win that ball
yeah.
game, so they'll win 5 in a row. Then how about this? Their next 3 games for the Dolphins: 49ers, Chargers, Bills.
You know, that
Then
Texans game, Ty, the professional gambler, that's one of those money liners that you shouldn't be afraid of, right? Money line?
Of the Texans?
Yeah, I mean with no. With Miami playing the Texans.
Oh, I mean, that's going to be like minus 350, 400 probably.
To get a hundy?
You're going to have to bet, yeah.
Worth it.
Nah.
Well, here's the thing
Yeah,
about
it is. Come on. Texans aren't going to beat them.
Listen, here's
Period.
Here's the thing about the Miami Dolphins. They're 7-0 with Tua at quarterback. They're 0-3 in a game either which he got hurt or he didn't play. Okay, the Bengals game they lost. They lost 3 straight games when he was hurt, and he shouldn't have played in the Bengals game. We know that. It was a Thursday night game after he had seemed to have suffered a concussion in the week before in the game they won.
Now, is the Mills experiment over with? That's not their guy. They got to know that's not the guy.
Davis Mills?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bum.
He turned out to be just a bum.
He's a bum.
Wow.
Well, and they don't have
So
much.
they can't be winning games. They don't need to be winning games.
Well, I mean, I shouldn't say. I mean, he has not been good. They needed a step forward season for him. He was really good at the end of last year, so you thought he could build on that. But they don't have a lot of weapons for him to throw to, right? They have the young running back. Pierce,
yeah, they can only turn around and hand it off.
But, Nico Collins is the best receiver. Brandon Cooks is now, he's kind of in and out of the lineup.
He's still there.
Brandon Cooks, yeah, because he refused. The Cowboys wanted to trade for him, and it didn't happen. So those are your games on Turkey Day. We'll keep the Dolphins, of course, play the Texans on Sunday. So the Cowboys on Turkey Day last year lost to the Raiders. The previous year, they lost on Turkey Day to the Washington football team. That's when we were calling them the football team, I believe, 2020. Yes. The year before that on Turkey Day, they lost to the Buffalo Bills 26-15. The year before that was 2018 on Turkey Day. The Cowboys lost they beat New Orleans. No, they beat Washington 31-23. That's the last time, 2018, last time the Cowboys won a Thanksgiving Day game. That's the only win that they have in their last 6 Thanksgiving days. You think this turns this time?
I do. Against the Giants, yes.
I think Brian Daboll can be coach of the year, but I don't think he can overcome.
Not this defense. He can't overcome it.
I mean, yeah, you're right. How are they going to move the football? And, boy, Dak Prescott, that's the one thing maybe didn't get talked about enough was how good Dak was on Sunday. 22 of 25, only 3 incompletions, on point. When he's that good and they're running the ball like that and making good decisions, they're going to be tough. They really are. They're going to be really tough. And I will take the Cowboys. Are they going to cover the 9.5, though, is the question.
Yes.
For the professional. Do you have a Turkey Day parlay, T.Y.?
I'll have something by the end of the show.
Look at him. He's getting it all together. Got in on that Maction last night.
Yeah, 8-0.
8-0 in Maction action. How about that?
Maction. Love that midweek.
Okay. It says Cooks didn't refuse anything. He wanted to be traded. Well, he wouldn't. Wasn't
it a money thing with him?
Well, the Cowboys weren't going to pay his whole salary. The Texans wanted the Cowboys to eat some of it. They asked Cooks to do the whole Odell Beckham thing and take a little less. And obviously he was unwilling to do that to facilitate the trade, and he's still in Houston right now. Obviously, they'll be in Miami on Sunday. So there's your football Thursday. We'll get into your football Friday, which includes the Longhorns and Baylor coming up. Hear from Steve Sarkisian in our next hour. Also, we'll get into the high school games. You got to, speaking of head on a swivel, Buck, high school games are going to be coming fast and furious. And there's also a bunch of high school games in this area. If you're looking to go see a game and you're not really rooting for a team, there's going to be some big-time games in this area for teams from the Metroplex and from Houston that are coming here to play, which is pretty cool. Meanwhile, the other teams are heading further out in the third round of the playoffs here. We'll be back, B&E with you. Ty will have the hot or not topics on this Wednesday morning on the Show of the People. Happy Thanksgiving, folks. Be safe on the highways and byways if you're headed out today to grandma's house, family's house, wherever you're headed. And the airport's going to be packed. You know that. So get that early start. For TY, Ty Henderson, our aspiring professional gambler producer, walks us through a couple of topics we've missed halfway through this Wednesday edition. Can I give you guys the Thanksgiving survey questions?
All right.
This was asked of a lot of people. What is the preferred start time of dinner? 40,000 people voted online on this Thanksgiving poll. 40,000. Most popular answer was between 3 and 4 o'clock.
That's what I said. I said I was in my 4.
If you eat at 3, the Cowboys start at 3:30. You can get that first plate in and still catch the Cowboys kickoffs. What do you say, Ty?
Is that for dinner?
Yeah,
for dinner, for the main dinner.
3 and 4:30, that's the window.
I think 4 o'clock is about
5 o'clock.
Ooh,
I feel like that's
that's
a
no,
little
if
too
you eat
early.
that late, you can't get the second meal.
Yeah, that
I like to go like 2:30.
Oh, I eat my second meal at like midnight on Thanksgiving.
Oh, not me. That'll do me.
Yeah, I like to get like 2:30, and then by 6 o'clock, you're heating up a plate, and then you're going to bed.
Because I'm hanging around the kitchen on the island, grabbing a deviled egg or two here or there before we even start, baby.
Also, from the surveys, is turkey your favorite Thanksgiving food?
I'm not,
Ty?
green bean casserole. No, I'm not a fan. That's not good. That's
Only 18.
That's your least favorite.
Only 18% say that turkey is their favorite food. 55 prefer. So that would mean what?
stuffing.
82% don't believe that the turkey is their favorite food.
What?
Well, it's not the best thing.
You got to get turkey plus the gravy is the
Okay.
best.
Oh, I can still put
The
stuffing
gravy
and
is the
mashed
best
potato.
part about
Oh,
it.
the taters.
You can
Okay.
put the gravy on everything.
55% prefer white meat. 45% prefer dark meat. Okay, is stuffing better when it's cooked inside the turkey?
No
which is
doubt.
hence the stuffing name.
No, individual placed in the oven. Stuffing. No
Up in the
thanks.
bird. Up in the
Stuff
bird.
that. I like to stick it up in that bird. Get up in there.
Only 16% of the 40,000 respondents say yes. 52 say no. 18% like both. Should mashed potatoes be completely smooth and creamy or have a few lumps?
I need some lumps. I mean, I don't even care if the skin's still on. I go for that.
Oh.
Brown gravy, though.
On Thanksgiving, lumps, yes.
Lumps.
60
With brown gravy.
You are
Yes.
in line with 62% of the vote. Do you like your gravy smooth or with stuff like mushrooms and onions mixed in it?
I don't like too much. You can put some things in it, but I don't. You can't put any weed in brown gravy.
They know.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe some sauteed onions. I don't know about the mushrooms,
86% say smooth. So that's overwhelming.
Okay.
Does a ham belong on a Thanksgiving table?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. 51% say yes, 49% say no. Is green bean casserole actually good?
No.
Your wife makes good green bean
But
casserole.
she makes it with fresh green beans, and she doesn't use a lot of canned stuff. It's really actually pretty good. My kids love it. My daughter, in particular, would probably revolt if she didn't make it. 61% say yes, green bean casserole is good. 39% think that it's gross. Should you serve salad to start?
No.
No,
Hell
just
to
have
the-
it on the side. Just have it there if somebody
What's
else
it even
wants
there
some.
for?
Huh? Yeah, what is it? It's just wasting
What is
space
this
on the
salad
table.
thing we're talking about
You're
here?
just wasting space on the table.
71% say stop messing around.
Yeah.
Is sweet potato casserole better with marshmallows on top?
No.
That
No.
ruins it.
I kind of agree. Majority say yes, just barely 51 to 49. Apple or pumpkin pie?
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
Okay. 67% say pumpkin on Thanksgiving. Is it okay to play Christmas music on Thanksgiving?
Of
We
course.
know. Yeah, I was about to say we know what your answer is.
Of course you can.
Yes.
Perry,
No,
That's
Perry
a no for
Como.
me.
All right, there you go. Nice job.
What are
There's
you
your
playing? The Backdoor Boys?
back street.
Boys? Oh,
Back
okay.
street.
Like Street Boys. I always get that confused for some odd reason.
All right,
Listen
good
to a lot
job,
of
guys.
board
That's
bands.
your Thanksgiving dinner table survey. Ty, what do you have for us in Hot or Not?
Well, so somebody took a joyride at the Cleveland Browns Stadium on one of their field equipment, tractors. of
Baker
sorts.
coming back to get his stuff since he lived in the stadium.
Something like that. But they pretty much there were just donuts all over the field. It was pretty messed up, and they do have a home game against the Bucks on Sunday. But they said that they should be able to fix it, but allegedly someone broke in, and maybe it was Baker, and pretty much destroyed the field.
He's coming to get the rest of his stuff and do a little mischief on the way.
I won't say that my buddy and I did that in junior high or right in we took his parents' car. I went over to our rival school and did donuts on the
Dazed and
field.
Confused, Friday Night
Oh,
Lights
yeah.
stuff.
I won't admit to that, but I will deny it in court.
There you go. Good job.
Can't do that these days with the
What
turf
What were
fields.
they driving though? Like
one of the field maintenance tractor things.
Oh.
I guess they'd left it on the field with the
Keys in it.
If you ever go to a construction site at night, there's a good chance you want to
No thanks.
test drive some tractors,
No,
some equipment around.
Don't they have like cameras or something? Like, what are we doing here? So now you've destroyed the field. They play who this week?
The Bucks and Tom Brady.
Oh, Tom Brady's going to rip his knee up playing in ruts.
Well, is Brownie the elf still on their field?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Why did they do that?
Who's Brownie
have
the
no
elf?
clue.
You know the elf they had on the 50-yard line for
Yeah, I don't know
most
why
of the
they
season?
all of a
The
sudden
Browns?
made
Oh, I didn't know there was Brownie the elf.
Brownie the elf. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I'll have to look this up. But you can't do donuts on an NFL
No.
field. How do you allow that to happen?
How do you
Cleveland?
get in?
Did Baker leave the door unlocked?
He left the stadium door
They
unlocked.
didn't get the keys back from him when he left.
That is unbelievable. It's the National Football League. Come on, Cleveland. Hey, coming back, we'll continue these convos, including the Longhorns. Can they find a win over Baylor? How do they do it? We'll hear from Steve Sarkisian coming up. Getting ready for the Bears on Friday morning. Got to have it, and then hope the Kansas wins. Also, who wins the big games in the college football weekend, Buck? Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, USC. And the rest of the big games on the slate either Friday or Saturday. It's a busy Wednesday. Be safe out there. Rain's going to be coming in, so you're hitting the highways and byways. Be smart, be safe, and happy Thanksgiving to you and yours on 104.9, 101.9, AM 1260, streaming always on your Horn app and your smart speaker and at hornfm.com. QC Kinetics, folks, relief is what it's all about. It's pretty amazing when you actually sit down and talk to the medical pros at QC Kinetics and they explain how the procedures that they provide work. To a person, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That really makes sense. Because I think there's still some people that think it's some kind of snake oil or something that they're selling. It is not. It's absolute relief for aching joints. If you have arthritis, if you have old sports injuries, if your knees, your hips, shoulder, lower back, and your sciatic nerve, if it's just in constant pain and your current remedies are to mask it with pain pills or occasional steroid injections, QC Kinetics is there for you. It is ready to use and teach you about their advanced regenerative medicine that restores and repairs the damaged joint tissue, giving you your life back. Even surgeons who are used to doing orthopedic surgery are now recommending this direction ahead of surgery because it does work in those areas. It is highly concentrated blood cells from your own body. They concentrate them and then inject them back into that area, can get deep in there, and that promotes the healing, provides the relief that you're looking for, gets you back in the game. If it's not about if it's going to hurt today, it's how severe. Get in and talk to our friends at QC Kinetics. They have 2 locations, one in Austin, one in Round Rock, and learn about these exciting new cutting-edge treatments for pain caused by arthritis or injury, and they do it with no drugs, no pain meds, and no downtime. And all it takes is a simple phone call. They have appointments available into next week, right out of Thanksgiving, 512-593-4303. That's 512-593-4303 at QC Kinetics. Put them together for Thanksgiving, holiday season, 4 days of feasting and fun and football. And we'll get you caught up on the Flex segment coming up bottom of the hour. All the games. There's a game starting at 11 a.m. on Friday all the way through the night games, and we'll have you full coverage right here on Friday. In addition to the Longhorn game with Baylor, the World Cup game, USA v. England, you'll have just a bevy of local high school teams continuing action in the playoffs all day and into the evening on Friday. Safe to say a jam-packed day of sports.
Absolutely. There'll be teams practicing tomorrow.
Yeah,
Ty,
man.
you practice a lot on Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah, I might go to the Turkey Bowl tomorrow at Westlake.
Now, that's pretty cool. That's an annual, and that's every high school coach in the state of Texas's goal, to be practicing on Thanksgiving. That
Right.
means you've made it 3 rounds deep in the playoffs. That means you're having a heck of a season, and you've given yourself a chance to continue to advance. That's really the goal. You want to be playing and obviously playing into December is the ultimate, but to be practicing on Thanksgiving. What is the Turkey Bowl, Ty? How does that work?
So it's all the people on the team that are either on the scout team or some JV guys that have been practicing with the varsity, but not getting a chance to play in these playoff games. It gives them an opportunity to go out and have a scrimmage against each other. But it's live action, and everyone comes out and go have Thanksgiving after. It's pretty cool.
What time do they usually do that?
In the morning.
Morning? Okay.
It's after the the actual varsity practice that day.
I would say based on the forecast,
After they get through practicing for the varsity and getting them all set up and ready to go.
Get you nice and warm.
Yeah.
It's likely to be raining on Thursday morning, but it's going to be plenty warm to be out there because today you're not looking at much rain until this evening. Tomorrow, going to be rainy. Going to be rainy, and looks like even Friday could be a washout. And wear your poncho to the football game, wear your poncho to Bevo Boulevard. Remember, no umbrellas allowed in the DKR.
No, don't bring in those.
How about this text here? It says, bring Ronaldo to Austin.
That would be awesome.
That would be unbelievable.
I saw where Cristiano Ronaldo was had his contract terminated.
He seems like a Miami man to me.
But we're hearing Lionel Messi going to Miami to be a part of the ownership group of Inter Miami. Ronaldo, Austin, Texas. Come on, man, that's your guy, Buck. I think you might.
Smart guy, yeah. Bring him.
I mean, would you love?
This is his last World Cup, right? He and Messi.
What
That's
is
their final.
He's 37, the Portugal star.
And who did I ask you about this
Portuguese.
morning, Ty?
Neymar.
Is Neymar still?
Neymar.
This is his last too, I got to believe.
He's a little bit younger, but
Yeah.
one would assume
This would be it for him too.
probably. But we thought that about Messi with the last World Cup, and look, he's back.
He's back, and they've already lost once to Saudi Arabia. Well, these viral videos that go out, the Saudi Arabian fans just going crazy when they won that game. One of the greatest upsets in World Cup history happened yesterday morning. There's a game in action right now. Germany is playing. Who's Germany playing right now, Ty? I'll get you a score here in a minute. Japan. They're about to start the second half. It's 1-0 Germany.
They got a penalty kick.
PK. That's where this one stands. They're about to start the second 45 minutes in World Cup action. Of course, the USA plays on Friday at 1 o'clock against England. So there we stand.
So I was saying the word ambrosia.
Ooh,
That was my mom's
that's what she.
little spectacle when she would, it was like Jell-O with little fruit things inside, but then it got sprinkled with coconut, and it was like, yeah.
Oh, is it like a dessert?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if people do that here if they have ambrosia. It is just, the coconut taste at Thanksgiving, that doesn't go with anything.
Well, like ambrosia is
Are we
traditionally the food or drink of Greek gods.
There you go.
Ambrosia. But there's the thing your mom used to make right there.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Oh, look at that thing. It's got little tangerines in it.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want that at your Thanksgiving right there.
What's it coated in?
I don't know, milk or something. I don't know. It was nasty. It still looks nasty.
Oh, it's like a fruit bowl.
That thing is like a fruit blow with
Southern
with
classic.
mayonnaise, with like mayonnaise on it or something.
Ambrosia salad. It's a fruit salad with clementine, pineapples,
Coconut.
maraschino cherries, and marshmallows.
Ugh.
Sounds kind of yummy. Wasn't Ambrosia a band too?
Yeah, it was.
Didn't they make music?
They did.
Did you like them?
I did. I liked all the corny bands. I was good with that.
What did they sing Ambrosia? Because I told you I was watching the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction show last night. Pretty good. But Ambrosia is not in. Ambrosia is an American rock and roll band from Los Angeles, California in the 70s.
They sing Rosanna. Is that
is that it?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
I don't know. Ambrosia, if you know some hits from them, we'll have it. Your mom used to make the tossed salad of Ambrosia.
The tossed salad of Ambrosia. Gross. I'll be having some cornbread. You do cornbread or biscuits? What are you into on?
Either.
Rolls. Yeast
rolls. Yeah.
Rolls.
Oh, the rolls. Yeah.
I forgot. That's my favorite.
What, the rolls, the great rolls?
Oh, yes.
That's the worst part of Thanksgiving.
Slapping some turkey in between there with some stuffing.
Just get some honey butter.
Oh, man, come on now. If you try to keep the carbs down, Thanksgiving's not your day.
No, it's not.
It's just not your day. It's starch paradise with potatoes and stuffing and
potatoes,
and
baked potatoes.
We don't do baked potatoes. We do mashed potatoes, stuffing, gravy, noodles,
scallop potatoes.
My grandma used to make these tremendous homemade egg noodles, which were just the best.
I was wrong. Rosanna is Toto.
Oh, Toto.
Saying that, yes.
Okay. Hey, let's get to your headlines. Then we're going to talk some college football and the Longhorns. Let's get to the news. Yep. Headlines brought to you by Top Gun Equipment Rentals, and we start with the college football playoff rankings remain unchanged for a third straight week as they were announced last night. Defending champion Georgia still on top, followed by the fellow undefeateds Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. All three of those schools survived major upset scares this past weekend. Michigan and TCU kicked late field goals. Buckeyes had to pull away from Maryland to stay undefeated. LSU comes in at number 5 this week, ahead of one-loss USC. That's raised some eyebrows. Ranking certain to change this week. That's because Ohio State will play Michigan Saturday in Columbus, one of the games of the year in college football. Georgia's going to host Georgia Tech. TCU will close out their regular season with Iowa State in Fort Worth. Texas, of course, Longhorns, they come in at number 22. And those rankings released last night, and they know their path to the Big 12 championship game in Arlington. They've got to beat Baylor Friday morning, which there's an opportunity. And then they need the team they just pummeled, Kansas, to turn around and pull the upset in Manhattan, beat K-State in the battle for Sunshine State bragging rights. First things first, though, Steve Sarkisian and his Horns must protect home field on Senior Day against Baylor, a team coming off that stinging loss to TCU.
Tough losses happen, man, and they took the number 4 team in the country to the brink, to the last second. But in the end, that's what our conference is about. It's tough. Big 12's a tough conference, man. Week in and week out, you got to play, ultimately your best football to come out on top. So they're a very good football team, very well coached, and I know they'll be hungry Friday at 11 a.m.
That's when the kick game will kick. Might want to bring your poncho. Rain in the forecast. Our pregame coverage live at 7 a.m. from Bevo Boulevard. Here on the Horn. It's across the Austin Radio Network. This Friday, of course, their game could be the last one at DKR for the running back Bijan Robinson. What a player he's been. Yesterday, the junior from Tucson named one of the 10 finalists for the Doak Walker Award, which honors the nation's top running back. Kansas State's Deuce Vaughn and TCU's Kendre Miller also among the field of 10. Winner will be announced on December the 8th. One other college football note, Kansas and their head coach Lance Leipold have reached an agreement on a contract extension that extends through the 2029 season. Leipold has guided Kansas to 6 wins this year in his second year at the helm. That's the most wins for the program since 2008, and as many wins as they had in the previous 3 seasons combined. His name had been mentioned for the vacancies at Nebraska and Wisconsin. He's going to stick and stay in Lawrence. Light night in the NBA. All 3 Texas teams were off last night. 76ers did spoil the return of Ben Simmons to Philadelphia. They beat the Brooklyn Nets 115-106. Good night of college hoops. They're playing the Maui Invitational out on the islands. 21st ranked Texas Tech absolutely walloped Louisville 70-36 yesterday. 14th ranked Arizona took down 17th ranked San Diego State 87-70. And how about 10th ranked Creighton? They topped 9th ranked Arkansas 90-87. The Blue Jays will be the opponent of the Longhorns coming up in December.
The Longhorns will have to make sure that Baylor doesn't get going early in the morning with their run game, with their big back. I mean, they've got a big one. They got a 240-pounder at Baylor right now, and he was just starting to get rolling last week. And the young freshman can go too.
Yes.
But they got to stop that. That has to be the number one thing they have to stop is the run game for Baylor. And once again, after Turkey on Thursday, who's willing and ready to get up at 11 a.m. and start putting their face in there after a good turkey dinner?
Yes. When will that? If I'm Texas, I'm eating my turkey dinner on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Then they'll celebrate Thanksgiving. Let's not overdo it with the tryptophan on Turkey Day. They'll do it as a team, I would guess, right? Mm-hmm. Have some type of dinner, but let's have the feast.
Yeah, as I said, a lot of kids will go to coaches' homes.
Yeah, that's what you used to do, right? You used to have players over to your house, including Ron McKelvey, the roster imposter.
Yeah, dude was drinking black coffee, and I'm like, what the hell?
you ever hear that story, T? I remember the roster imposter who was like 30 years old. Changed his name. Was his real name McKelvey or Weaver?
Weaver. Ron Weaver.
Wait, you had a 30-year-old on the team?
Yes.
It was a fake identity. Catfish.
On Texas?
Yes.
Yes.
1995?
We had a lot going on there, Ty.
Or 4.
How long before y'all figured that out?
Not till the Sugar Bowl.
A whole season?
The whole season. And you said he was over at your house drinking black coffee.
Everybody else was having pop or whatever. And the dude was over there having, hey, can I have a cup of coffee? I was like, cream sugar? No, just black. I'm like, damn. Dude, you're like an old man. You are an old man.
Old soul over there. No, yeah, that was maybe too early for you, Ty. You're only 25. But, yes, that was they got to the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, and next thing you know, you got the call.
Oh, I got the call. Hey, we got a team meeting. I'm like, uh-oh. Which one of my guys is –
What'd we do?
Yeah, which one of my guys is laying in a river somewhere?
Oh.
And it wasn't. It was about that deal.
Yeah, I think there he is, Ron Weaver. Played college football player for the University of Texas. Played under the alias Joel Ron McKelvey.
Gosh.
Played at Monterey Peninsula College, and then played at Sacramento.
He just wanted to play a little extra ball. Come on.
You see the story about the guy playing that's 49 years old?
I saw that.
The veteran?
I saw that.
49 years old.
Clock stopped so he could come back and play.
They
won a championship, didn't they? It was like Division I or whatever.
Division II or whatever, yeah. Division III. Cool story. But, yeah, Ron McKelvey, Ron Weaver. Good stuff. I didn't know it was J-Ron.
J-Ron McKelvey, alias. But no, none of that. Texas has to beat Baylor. Can they do it? Buck, what's your level of optimism? You mentioned the big running back. We know what Jeff Grimes and his team want to do. That outside zone run scheme is what it's all about. They've got to get Texas has to defend the perimeter, but it does feel like the strength of Baylor matches up with the strength of Texas on defense. Yes. That's what they've been good at all year, which is containing run games. Blake Shapen is a good quarterback, but he's not much of a runner. Yeah, and Sark himself can get frustrated if they're not running the ball well early, because that Baylor defense, they got that big stud in the middle, so they're still pretty good defensively. You know, they're not totally bad. They just hadn't been playing well offensively, which, you know, messed with the defense a little bit. But believe me, they'll be ready to go defensively too. So, but don't give up on your run game. Don't give up on your guy that you may not have again. Well, Bijan, that's going to be the challenge for Texas. And you know, Dave Aranda said it at his news briefing yesterday. He said, look, pretty clear, when Quinn Ewers has a clear pocket and he knows where his first read is, he's really good. But if you can make it cloudy and you can make him think a little bit, things, he didn't say this, but things kind of go downhill. And we've seen that with Quinn Ewers. Now, against Kansas, Quinn Ewers didn't have to do much, right? He completed 11 passes on a cold day, and Bijan named his number. Then Jonathan Brooks came in and went over 100 yards. The Horns ran for over 400 yards in the game. I don't think you're doing that against Baylor. And the last time we saw Quinn Ewers at DKR, they were playing TCU, and he had a rough day. Dave Aranda can confuse a young quarterback. I mean, his schemes, his defense, his disguise coverages can be a challenge. But let's hear Steve Sarkisian, his thoughts overall on the Baylor Bears and what they bring to the table in this matchup. Offensively, I'll speak on first. They've got great balance, man. I'm really, I'm impressed with their ability to run the football with the different runners that go in. I think the quarterback has really, kind of emerged in his style of play. Got a very athletic, good offensive line with a good scheme. The run game, the play pass, they do a nice job getting the quarterback on the perimeter. He's a very good athlete. So all those things add up to it's a tough scheme. I think defensively, very good scheme as well. Big defense, very big up front, physical, athletic in the secondary. So pose good challenges there. And Dave, I've got a great deal of respect for him. I've known him a long time. He's done a tremendous job with their program. I know, tough losses happen, man, and they took the number 4 team in the country to the brink, to the last second. But in the end, that's what our conference is about. It's tough. Big 12 is a tough conference, man. Week in and week out, you got to play, ultimately your best football to come out on top. So they're a very good football team, very well coached, and I know they'll be hungry Friday at 11 a.m. You have the number 2 and number 3 rush defenses in this conference head-to-head here. Texas is number 2. Baylor is number 3. It's two groups that like to stop the run and put it in the quarterback's hands.
this is a game in which Quinn Ewers is probably going to have to be more than a game manager, Buck.
For sure.
Xavier Worthy's going to have to be big. I mean, Jordan Whittington has to get involved early. Bijan Robinson, if the run game's not clicking, Steve Sarkisian has to have a quick pivot to get him involved in the passing game. I mean, all the things that didn't happen against TCU, you got to make amends because Kansas didn't have the personnel to do much with Texas. Baylor does, right? Baylor can mimic a lot of what TCU did. They can run blitz heavy to stop the run on early downs. They're going to try to put this game in
and they don't have to even run blitz. They can do it with their up front 4 guys. If they have some success, they can, you got to make sure you're on those guys. This is when you get double teams and have to double team a guy, you got to finish because they have strong players on that defensive line.
They do. Sika, what's the big kid?
Sika the Bear?
That kid is a monster that you're going to have your hands full with. They're big, as he said. They are a big physical line. They don't have the playmakers like we saw last year with
strong and
Terrell
the
Bernard and Jalen Petrie, and those guys are NFL players now. And but they're still a Dave Aranda defense.
Mm-hmm.
And for the last month, anytime they've run into a stingy defense, Quinn Ewers has been put in tight spots. I mean, that's going to be the question. And let's also add, it's probably going to be raining. It's going to be a rainy, wet day, ball wet, all those things. Elements will come into play. Probably a lower scoring.
You have to take care of the football because there'll be some big hits in this game.
There will be.
From both sides.
That becomes the challenge. Offensively, Texas and Baylor are, Baylor's the 4th best rushing offense in the Big 12. Texas is 6th in the conference. This is a Baylor team that is, you just heard Sark say. I mean, they took the number 4 team in the country and had them beat. It felt like, right, in that 4th quarter with an 8-point lead. Couldn't finish the deal. Give TCU a lot of credit, but this is a tough win for Texas, and it means a lot because if you can win that game, you get to 8-4. You're taking a big stride forward as a program in my mind.
Absolutely.
And then you sit back on Saturday night and hope that Kansas, with their coach and a new contract, and Lance Leipold going to stick with that program. You've got to root for the Jayhawks, but first you got to beat Baylor. And
no matter how many touches for both backs it takes, running the football.
Well, we played the cut earlier. Maybe we'll play it again later. But, Steve Sarkisian was asked, look, are you going to open up the quarterback competition when the season's over? And he said, yeah. He said every position's an open into the offseason. Nothing is guaranteed. But let's just call a fact, Buck. Quinn Ewers needs to have a good game here because Dave Aranda is going to put it in his hands. Do everything he can to put it in his hands. And, of late, Quinn Ewers has not looked up to that task.
It's up to the coach to give him some comfortable throws then.
That's exactly right. What is Steve Sarkisian design on what's going to be a rainy day, wet field to get his quarterback into a rhythm?
Mm-hmm.
You can't let Dave Aranda win this chess battle with your quarterback. Because he's going to try. That's what we'll tell if the Longhorns are going to be able to win this football game. I feel like their defense, the Longhorn defense that is, has a chance to really, put the straps on Baylor too. Because they've been terrific. They're coming off a great performance, allowing 14 points. But they played great complementary football at Kansas. Can they bring that back here? They played great defense against TCU, but no offense. Can you bring both to the table in your final regular season game and defend home field?
Yeah, I think there'll be, as I said, no matter what, 11 a.m., I think there'll be a nice crowd to say goodbye to these seniors.
Yeah, well, you also have to deal with the senior day emotions.
Yes, you do.
You've been a part of that, parents and family.
Absolutely.
Folks are there.
You have to play within the framework of what you've been taught. You can't go out there on senior day and say, hey, this is my day. No, it's our day.
Yeah. Or you got tears in your eyes and you're trying to play a football
crazy.
game.
I mean, I lost on my senior day. That was horrifying. That was no good. That's one that you never forget. Ty, you won on your senior day. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You always remember that one.
I was hurt, so I wasn't going to play in the playoffs, and I broke down crying like a baby after that game.
Wow.
Now when it was all over.
Did you do that in the choir too?
Yeah, senior night, choir night.
Choir night, yeah, baby.
We all sat and cried together.
Awesome. I love that.
Little kumbaya. Love it.
Craig Way has reminded us that Ron McKelvey / Weaver was 26.
He went to a bunch of JUCO colleges.
8 years of JUCO at 4 different schools and then landed at Texas. When's the 30 for 30 coming out on Ron Weaver?
I don't know. He's probably out of the can or whatever.
Now?
He's back in Cali, I believe.
Okay. Where is he?
He went to jail for that?
No.
Did y'all get in trouble for that?
Not really, no.
Somebody should have. How'd you not figure that out? What the heck's going on? What's going on?
I should have figured out the day he was drinking coffee at my house.
Well, he wasn't your guy. He wasn't your position group.
No,
was
he was a secondary.
Who's running background checks on these fellas?
Who knows?
How about this? This is just breaking this morning. The Arizona Cardinals, who played Monday night in Mexico City, got stomped by the Niners. They have reportedly fired their offensive line coach, run game coordinator, apparently for groping a woman in Mexico City just hours before the team played against the 49ers.
What?
That's a bad look. Yeah, sounds like a mess out there in Arizona. Yes, Sean Kugler, offensive line run game coordinator, citing sources from ESPN, they report that Kugler was accused of inappropriately touching a female on Sunday night while getting ready for the Monday Night Football game. The outlet reports Mexican authorities were made aware of the allegations and then told the Cardinals of it all. Kugler was fired a short time later, sent back to Arizona Monday morning. Thanks, Sean.
Was this before the game? I mean,
Sunday. Game was Monday. Got to feel like that's going to show up on the real season, in-season Hard Knocks.
Of course. Can't do that. Dude, come on, man.
Have you watched any of that? The in-season Hard Knocks with Kyler Murray and Colt McCoy and Cliff?
Oh.
Yeah, that's got to be a headline.
Here we go, Cliff. Here's one more strike right here.
All right, so there's some Texas Baylor chatter. Obviously, that game Friday, part of a pretty busy Friday. Speaking of busy Fridays, it is incredibly busy on the high school football fields of play. We'll get you the big games of the local teams, when they play and where. Also, get some thoughts, because we won't be back with you to talk high school football till Monday. So let's roll back in with our flex segment. Plus, Craig Way has his report, salacious gossip, and let's get you a good weekending blitz before the end of this hour. It's B&E on the Horn. Viking Fence, folks, since 1972, the premier fence company in the ATX. That's 50 years, and they're still locally owned, locally operated. They do it all for any type of fence that you need. Wood privacy, iron fence, chain link for a project that you have, and then perimeter security and that temporary rental fence. That is a tremendous division as well. If you do projects, right? You're a construction superintendent, contractor, or maybe you plan events and you do that on the regular. Viking Fence is your go-to every time for their temporary rental fence service and the perimeter security. It's not just about the rental fence. They make sure the perimeter is secured. You need lighting services, bathroom services for your event and for your project. They can cover you there, and they make sure you get to focus just on the event or just on the project. They don't want you worrying about what's going on around it. They will take care of that, set up to tear down, and they've been doing it the best in the industry for a long, long time. All you have to do is call them. Put them on speed dial if you do it often. They've got the total package at Viking Fence. It's 837-6411, that phone number, 512-837-6411. Or find them online and learn more at their great website, vikingfence.com. You can browse ideas there, get a quote, learn more about their rental fence division. It's a really, really useful website right there at vikingfence.com. The total package, folks, for 50 years and still locally owned and operated. No one's going to beat a Viking Fence. 837-6411, online at vikingfence.com. When you think fence in Central Texas, there is one name. It's a Viking Fence. Appreciate you being with us. Maybe getaway day for you, getting out ready to go enjoy some Thanksgiving time, holiday time with friends and family and football. It is a Bud Light Football Wednesday. That's right, Football Wednesday, because it all gets going. Hey, guess what, Buck? In the 9 o'clock hour, it's going to feel like a Football Friday, Bud Light Football Friday. Lee Sterling will be with us to make picks from ParamountSports.com on the big games of the weekend, including the Cowboys and Giants, Longhorns and Baylor. Also, got to make picks on our John McClellan Supreme Lending picks, Buck. We ready to get after it?
I think CB was reminding me 38 years ago was the Hail Mary pass, the Doug Flutie Hail Mary pass.
That is unbelievable. Hail Flutie.
Yes, it was.
You were on the sidelines with
a
hangover
was.
At the time, I believe.
What? Of course I was.
With the hangover. You're playing in Miami. Where were you the night before? Let's not tell that story.
No, let's not ever tell that story. That one's one that's never got out.
Uh-oh. But yes, what a game. Doug Flutie, Heisman Trophy winner, really won it with that play, really, 38 years ago this day.
Mm-hmm. What a game.
November. And I can tell you, I was 12 years old, and I was watching that game on my couch in Houston, Texas, at my parents' house, where they still live. Because I didn't know this was like, what 1982?
Yeah, it was a kind of drizzly
84?
day.
84.
Yeah, 84.
So I'm 12. And this is when we had moved to Houston in 1980, and I wasn't a huge college football fan at that point. I was more of a Astros, Oilers, Rockets, pro fan. Houston Cougars I liked a lot in basketball, Phi Slamma Jamma. But, man, I flipped that game on. It was a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Friday after Thanksgiving, and it was an unbelievable game. Bernie Kosar.
Oh, yeah, Troy Strapper was a part of that.
What a comeback. What a game. The Hail Mary.
Yeah, that was a group of our team was a group that nobody wanted. Nobody recruited any of those guys, and had about 7 or 8 pros on there.
I'm pretty sure that was the day I fell in love with college football. I mean, because I really, like I said, I grew up in Ohio. My dad's a big Ohio State fan, but it was more of a pro town when I got to Houston, and so you're into pro sports as a kid, and then man, that game. All in college football.
And in that particular game, I had 3 running backs that played in the NFL. The first string, the second string, and the third string guy both. That was the group with Steve Strahan that played for the Raiders for about 6 or 7 years. It was Troy Strapper that was the Rookie of the Year with the Miami Dolphins, and Kenny Bell, who played for the Denver Broncos.
Kenny Bell.
All 3 of those guys were in the same team. And Steve Strahan was the guy who ran down the field, who was supposed to be blocking in the backfield for me. And then when the Miami players got to the height of their jump, he undercut them. And cut their height right out from under. Oh, yeah, it was. He dove at their legs and knocked them down, and the ball went over the top.
Didn't you tell me you were walking to the locker room?
I was walking down the sideline and say, I don't know how we scored this many points and lost this game to them.
Gerard Phelan, 47-45. Jack Bicknell gets the win over Jimmy Johnson.
Boy, what a throw,
Jimmy
too.
Johnson.
That ball was in the air forever.
That's what I always remember from that, is that little dude flung that ball 60 yards.
Oh,
man.
no, he could fling it.
That was a rocket. Hail Mary pass. Boston College gets the victory.
That was a good stuff because that was the year that was when every weekend that, Sports Illustrated was at BC waiting, because they had Flutie all pegged, and that was the game that did it right there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a scoring fest and just an exciting football game 38 years ago today. Let's get to the Flex segment. It's just after 8:30 every day here on B&E. All right, Buck, after you get done with your turkey dinner and the football feast on Thursday with the Cowboys and Giants, Bills, Lions, the first game, and Patriots, Vikings at night, plus the Egg Bowl. The Egg Bowl is Thursday night. That's Mississippi and Mississippi State. Ole Miss. Could it be is that the last game of Lane Kiffin?
No, he's not going anywhere.
Some rumblings that he's moving to Auburn. He's saying the right things now, but we know
he met with his team yesterday and told him, you know how that goes.
Do we really trust Lane Kiffin at this point? Have we gotten to that point that we trust the guy? I don't know. But we'll see. That'll be Thursday night. Then Friday, we know we'll be on Bevo Boulevard getting ready for Texas and Baylor. But 11 o'clock, the game started at 11. They go all day. First game of the day for our area teams in the high school football playoffs. Dripping Springs plays Harlingen indoors at the Alamo Dome. Early morning kick for the Dripping Springs Tigers. What a great season they are having. Undefeated and looking to keep on rolling. One loss. They lost to Westlake. But outside of the Westlake loss, the number 1 team in the state, they are undefeated. Liberty Hill will play Alamo Heights at 1:30. It's 2 1:30 games, Buck, of the local teams.
Right.
At Bastrop Memorial Stadium in Bastrop, Liberty Hill will play Alamo Heights.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like, I heard Craig Way talking about it yesterday, dead even game. Like Craig's supercomputer says this is a pick'em game. Should be a lot of fun. Alamo Heights and Liberty Hill. Also at 1:30 in Hutto, Geronimo Navarro will play Lago Vista. You know what I heard last night? Wimberley is still playing, and they've got a game this week. You know that all 4 teams in that division, that district, are still playing.
Made it, yeah, all 4
They're
of them.
still playing.
You're right.
Navarro and Lago Vista being 2 of them. That's pretty cool. Then at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Westlake will play San Benito. San Benito will be the opponent of the Westlake Chaparrals. Give you a little note on that. A lot of times Westlake will play a South Texas team in this round, and average score 42-13.
Yeah, it won't be pretty.
Average score 42-13 when Westlake gets to this point and play one of those deep South Texas teams. Also, then we have 4 games kicking off at 6 o'clock. Westlake and San Benito is 2 o'clock. And then the Flex ATX pregame show with Snoop and the team, Buck, will go live at 5 o'clock. So they'll get you caught up on the games that are in progress and probably done. That Dripping Springs 11 o'clock kick will be done. The 2 1:30 games will be approaching their finish. And so Snoop will go live at 5 to get you ready for the 4 games that kick at 6 o'clock. College Station and Georgetown from Waco at Waco ISD Stadium. And what a ball game that should be. Those are 2 high-level teams that I believe they played in the regular season and played a heck of a game too, Westlake and College Station, Bug. So this is a good one. And then also at 6, Lake Travis, the game you'll be calling at Canyon High School down in New Braunfels. They'll play San Antonio Brennan.
Yep.
What's your thumbnail on this game?
That was a team that they beat last year. I think that game was played at Dripping.
Lake Travis beat Brennan in the playoffs last year 42-17.
Yeah, this is a better team.
And Lake Travis hasn't lost to a San Antonio area team in the playoffs since 2004 because they typically get a San Antonio team in this round. But I heard Craig Way, again, always loved listening to Light the Tower, say yesterday that he believes Brennan is the best team in San Antonio. Now, Lake Travis had a...
Whatever that means.
Well, that would include Cibolo Steel, who Lake Travis beat with a walk-off field goal last week, right? Well, Craig at least believes that Brennan's better than Cibolo. And so this could be a heck of a game for you guys at 6 o'clock on Friday.
Yeah, they had a lot of returning kids from that team that played last year, too.
Also, Jarrell plays Wimberley at 6 o'clock. We mentioned the Texans undefeated, and they get Jarrell out of their same division. It's going to be at Gupton Stadium in Cedar Park. Also at 6 o'clock, Blanco plays Edma in San Antonio. And then 7 o'clock, you have 2 games, Industrial and Llano. Falls City plays Granger. And then at 7:30 at the Alamo Dome, Vandegrift playing Harlan. And there you go. So
what a weekend. What a Friday, huh? How about that?
Listen, this is a great day. This is a great day. Now, Mother Nature will play a factor. It won't for Dripping Springs and Vandegrift because they're going to play inside in the Alamo Dome. Won't be a problem. But rest of these games likely to be played in wet stuff. We read earlier from the meteorologist there over at CBS Austin who said that the storm, their morning models suggesting that they knew Thursday and Turkey Day was going to be wet and a washout. But now the storm is moving slower than anticipated, which now brings most of Friday into concern as far as rain all day Friday, potentially. Weekend looks great. Saturday and Sunday look awesome once this storm moves through and passes. But Thursday, Friday looking rough. So you might be playing, Lake Travis, Buck, might be playing in the rain. Or at least the wrapping up of the rain on Friday night. Yep. Could be. So good luck to all those teams. Matt, obviously, as you said, every coach in the state of Texas, their goal is to be practicing the week of Thanksgiving, to still be playing.
Thanksgiving morning.
And the winners this week will be practicing into December, which is pretty cool.
That is cool. You're right.
Yeah, that is the opportunity to practice into
and if
the 12th
Lake
month.
Travis can get by and Westlake gets by, they'll be playing each other the following week somewhere.
We all know who the best lake is. Come on.
Well,
the Best Lake. I like it. You got those T-shirts that say that.
Oh, we do.
Best Lake.
What are you, OU in your witty T-shirts?
I love it. But we don't. Where would that game? We're playing that game at DKR, right?
I would hope so.
I don't think so.
What do you mean?
I don't think so either, but that would be.
Why?
Why not?
I don't think they can do games.
For Lugerville.
They played games there before.
They used to play there every year when they weren't in the same division or same district. But
come on, CDC, open up DKR. Now they both have to win.
Yes.
Both have to win to make that a debate.
That's right.
But it's the two lakes. Come on, man. We're playing that game in the Burger Center or something.
No, it would go to the P field again, probably somewhere like that.
House Park would be cool.
Well,
it's not big enough. But.
I don't think it's big enough for that group. The two groups, no, it wouldn't be.
I have an idea. DKR.
I like that idea too, but I don't think that's in the works.
The Longhorns are done. Season's over after tomorrow. They're not playing on that field again. They're going to worry about the field, do they? Like the Cleveland Browns had people doing donuts on their football field.
They're worried about that.
You have to worry about that. I don't know. Somebody let me know why they can't play at DKR. Come on, Texas. Wouldn't you want those? You got Colton Vasek, one of your own recruits, playing in that game potentially. I don't know. That would be.
Could
my
get Jaden Grayhouse in there. Maybe show him the locker rooms again.
Just said Cedric Benson destroyed Westlake at DKR. I remember that game. I remember when he ran over one Houston Street at the goal line for his fourth touchdown of the game out of Midland.
That's when those games were played there, right?
Yeah. Now, it wasn't that long ago that they played a regular season game at DKR, the two schools, right?
Oh, Westlake played Vandergrift at DKR last year.
Oh,
I went to that game.
Really?
Yeah, my dad just texted me.
All right, so we're pushing for that. Now, again, good luck to Lake Travis. They've got a tough one with Brennan.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to Westlake. Both favored to win their games, but both will be tough battles, and so we look forward to next week still talking about the area teams who are looking to advance to the fourth round of the state playoffs.
Love it with Liberty Hill and Wimberley, as Wimberley just keeps on winning. Year after year.
You know what else I ran to last night at dinner? We were out at the Hayes City store. The baseball coach at Dripping Springs was out there, and I talked to him for a while. And I said, Coach, you got volleyball winning state title. You got football rolling.
You put it on him?
I go, there's a little bit of pressure on you. He goes, tell me about it. Tell me about it. They're raising the bar. I thought this whole 6A thing, no, it's pretty cool. But Dripping Springs having a great year. Westlake and Lake Travis and the rest. Good luck to them all as we get you cranked up for high school football and part of your Thanksgiving weekend. Coming back, final blitz of the week.
Japan takes the lead. 2-1 against Germany.
Breaking news. Another major upset. 82nd minute. Japan has 2 goals in the second half.
What'd I tell you, Bucky? What'd I tell you?
You said that would be the one.
You had Japan as the major
money
upset.
line and +1. Let's go. Let's hold this out.
All right, so TY with the breaking news. Japan has taken the lead on Germany.
That's a huge money line,
in the World Cup. Now that's not as big an upset as Argentina, but it's kind of
close.
We'll be back. Load up a Wednesday Blitz. Coming back. No games, just gossip. You know it's brought to you by Bud Light. Good Times in Austin, always brought to you by Bud Light, our great friends at Brown Distributing, and the official domestic beer partner of the Texas Longhorns. Will play their final home game on Friday. Bevo Boulevard should be fun. How about a sleep at the wheel? What, the great Ray Benson and the many time Grammy Award-winning Sleep at the Wheel will be playing on Longhorn City Limits stage, but after the game. And hopefully it's a win for the Longhorns and Ray Benson and the crew, all big Longhorn fans. That should be a lot of fun. So, by the way, speaking of music, Tom Gimble will be with us next hour, our Wednesday live music update. In addition to our picks with Lee Sterling, we're jamming a lot into a Wednesday that feels like a Friday, but it's all going to be brought to you, all the good times. Watching football all day tomorrow on a rainy Turkey Day. Do it with an ice cold Bud Light, and it's the world's favorite light beer, brewed in Texas by Texans for Texans, and dang proud of it. It's the world's favorite light beer, has been for a long time, and will continue to be. Hey, Buck, we saw the go-ahead goal for Japan. You know, this is the battle of the Axis powers from World War II here.
Yep.
Germany and Japan. Japan, the setup for the goal, this kid, what do you think he kicked that ball, Ty? 70 yards in the air?
Oh, it was insane.
Unbelievable.
I think the Germany defender thought he was offsides because he stopped running with him.
It got up over the top. He caught it on his foot and just from a really difficult angle from the right side, just fired it home.
Right over the goalkeeper's head.
Unbelievable. So we're now into the 91st minute. We're into extra time now with Japan up on Germany 2-1. Another massive upset brewing there in Qatar. We'll get a World Cup update coming up next hour, too. Also, Buck, from the salacious gossip file, looks like Gisele Bundchen has begun the process of becoming Tom Brady's new next-door neighbor in Miami. She was spotted moving her stuff in, her new $11.5 million Miami Beach home. And you know who was helping her lift stuff?
Who's that?
Mr. Jiu-Jitsu.
What's he doing? What is he doing still hanging around?
Am I the only one that doesn't think she's super attractive? Supermodel attractive?
Yes, you are.
You are the only one.
Yes. That's okay, but that's okay.
Joaquim Valente was there to help lift things, carrying stuff in. She says he's just the jiu-jitsu instructor, but anybody that helps another female or person move is more than just a friend.
Oh, yeah. He's packing more than boxes. Probably.
I mean, you don't, there are only certain friends that you ask to help you move, right? I mean, those are...
And if you're smart, you don't ask their friend to do that.
Because you don't just ask like an average friend to help you carry stuff. And I mean, how much stuff and why does she need mover? Where's her movers? It's an $11.5 million mansion. But they were just moving small things in.
Air fryers and stuff like that.
Air fryers. Giselle has an air fryer.
Is he setting up his jiu-jitsu studio?
Oh, yeah. It's downstairs for sure. And upstairs.
Oh, maybe he's getting his own studio in the house. That makes sense. Because you know why? Because she's going to have to teach the kids jiu-jitsu from the house.
Absolutely. If that dude's hanging around, they're going to have to learn something.
So let's double back to the lead of this. So you don't think Gisele Bundchen is supermodel attractive?
No.
What's your gripe here, Seinfeld?
Her nose?
Her nose, yeah.
Her nose. It's larger.
It's just her face is too defined.
Ooh.
It's like
too
sharp.
You mean like a pony?
Kind of, yeah.
It's all right.
Well, by the way, your guy Antonio Brown, AB, and Antonio Brown continues to have some fun with his guy Tom Brady. Yesterday on his Instagram, the troubled ex-NFL receiver shared, it was actually on his Snapchat, and he has edited Gisele's face on top of a woman's naked body, and he's now sending them out.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't have much to say on it.
Is Tom Brady going to have AB put down or what?
Put down? Put like that? You mean like a sick old dog? Put down?
I mean, Tom's pretty powerful. Tom knows some people.
He knows his played in Boston.
Up there,
he'll call up the FTX boys, see what they can do for him.
Yeah, he can make the call to his boys that deflated the balls up in Boston.
I mean, he's putting out pictures of. He took
it's his ex-wife now.
It's his ex-wife, but come on. He's got a picture that he put out on Snapchat of where he superimposed his head on top of Tom's.
Where are those Taylor Swift
where she's like
pictures?
hanging on him?
I have a lot of people agreeing with me about Gisele on the text line here.
Of course
so
they
I'm
do.
not the only one.
So she looks like a man face.
See?
Ty, you're not alone. She's attractive, but I've seen much better.
Well, we've all seen much better, but did you see that 100-yard walk of hers?
This is supposed to be Tom Brady's. This is supposed to be the most beautiful woman in the world, Tom Brady's wife. Come on, I guess ex-wife now.
Okay, you guys.
She's
go
got
with
some
that.
coin.
By the way, speaking of beautiful women, I missed this, but I saw it on video because we were having a wedding on Sunday night. They had the American Music Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Carrie Underwood's deal, where she came down doing this pink like acrobatics and singing her song in this full, leotard deal, looking like Captain America or something?
Oh.
I have to check that out.
Unbelievable. Her legs have gotten stronger. She must be working out with her hockey husband or whatever that is, because it's ridiculous what she's got going on, this Carrie Underwood. Plus, I think she's done something to her lips. They look more
voluptuous,
full
length lips.
They're in Nashville, Tennessee. But yeah, that happened. I'll show you some video of that. Let's go to your Blitz.
Here you people go. First Blitzer, you're up.
Hey, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank
E.
you.
Hogan, just want to say no hard feelings. I was terrible at my job, and I needed to get fired. This is Trey Elling.
Oh,
Wow.
That was not my doing. Don't blame that on me.
That's
we love
right.
Trey. We love Trey.
Next Blitzer, you're up.
Longhorns lose tomorrow and become 7-5. They should just forget about the SEC. They're not ready.
Thank you, sir.
Let's wait till the game is played. Next Blitzer, you're up.
Hey, I'd wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving, but neither of y'all are celebrating it. So happy Thanksgiving to the Blitzers. And, hey, this is for truth. Did you guys know that the only turkeys that gobble are the males? And do you know why it's only the males?
Why?
Because it's a calling for these nuts.
Jeez. Next Blitzer, you're up.
Hey, Aaron, you said that you were off for a wedding on Sunday. Are you sure that wasn't you over there in Cleveland running on that field with
No,
that?
I was not doing donuts on the field in Cleveland. I was-
Wow. Next Blitzer, talk to us.
Extension season. What type of extension should the offensive coordinator get?
Oh, next Blitzer, you're up.
That's Kyle Flood, by the way.
Yeah, this is Bev Kearney. Yeah, hey, guys, my go-to tomorrow will be chocolate pie.
Oh, gee. Next Blitzer, you're up.
Go with the pumpkin.
If I get the wishbone tomorrow, a turkey dinner, I'm going to wish for better blitzers for next year.
There you go. That's a good wish. Way to start that off. Next Blitzer, you're up.
Hey, what's up, you jive-ass turkeys? Oh, and you dumb-ass turkeys, too. Y'all have a good Thanksgiving.
Same to you,
sir.
Thanks, big dog. All of you Blitzers have a wonderful Thanksgiving for sure.
And you too. You're going to Hoover's.
I'm going to Hoover's and back to the crib, and me and the animals will get together. Maybe I'll have a little outdoor fire. Just about a little campsite.
Maybe I'll come join you.
How's that? Oh, that's right. Ty is home alone, too.
All right, there's your picture, Buck. There's Carrie Underwood in her full superhero getup, where she sang from
Ty wouldn't like that
came
either.
down from the rafters. Somebody said that I remember this now. Carrie Underwood had an accident and she had to have surgery on her lips.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure what the accident was. She's sucking on a tailpipe or something. What's happening here? No, she did. She had a fall. I mean,
Really?
In jest. Yeah, she fell, I believe it, at her ranch or something. But yeah, we hope the best.
Well, she
for
got
her.
it fixed all right.
She got it fixed. No, she came down from the rafters. I mean, she was on this acrobatic thing, singing and doing her best Pink imitation.
Japan wins.
Japan is a winner.
Wow.
Down goes Germany. The Blitz got them. 2 second-half goals, just like the Saudi Arabia game. Argentina was up 1-0 at the half. Germany was up 1-0. They give up 2 second-half goals. And Japan, with the second stunning upset of the World Cup, we're coming back on B&E. Specs, folks, wine, spirits, and finer foods, and the holiday season is here, man. If you need that last-minute idea for Thanksgiving, right, you're got to bring something to the host house or whatever it might be, or you're hosting, Specs is your spot each and every time for an event like that. Get in there. They've got everything you need. Since 1962, they've been a Texas family-owned tradition and a 4-time Retailer of the Year nationally for obvious reasons. It's everything. I mean, you walk into any one of your Specs locations and kind of can be daunting. It's so large, and they've got so much selection of wine and the spirits and everything you would ever want. Then back in the coolers, they've got the beers and the seltzers and the Bud Lights and everything you want. They also have the finer food section. They have the humidor up in the corner for a good cigar. It's everything. But they have the people that guide you to where you want to be. I mean, they can help you. Hey, well, what's for dinner? Let's see if we can pair this with our perfect wine. They know their stuff when it comes to that, and that's what you want. Also, Specs has that new best whiskey pecan pie in Texas. You can pick that up, bring that with you. That is an unbelievable thing to bring to the Thanksgiving dinner. They can pick those up there as well. It is a tradition. It's where the fun begins. Is Specs, any of your locations. Always go to the website, too, specsonline.com, to find the one nearest you. Maybe you're headed out of town and you need to find the Specs where you're going. That'll help you out at specsonline.com. They can also deliver. You can pick up curbside. You can call ahead and you can pick it up, or they'll deliver it to you from Specs as well. Just go to the website, specsonline.com. It is where the fun begins, where the savings begin. Cheers to Thanksgiving. Cheers to good times at Specs Wine, Spirits, and Finer Foods. Oh, man, it is a Wednesday, but this 9 o'clock hour is combining Wednesday with Friday. We're going to have Lee Sterling coming up, ParamountSports.com, the picks of the weekend, including the Cowboys and Giants. And remember, Lee comes on and gives you with the gambling line. You know what I mean? Like, Ohio State may beat Michigan, but 7.5 points? Yo, that hook. Michigan smacked them last year, 42-27. Also, we'll get picks on K-State, Kansas. Of course, the Longhorns need Kansas to pull the upset. Texas has to take care of Baylor. He also picked that game. And TCU, Iowa State as well, plus Philadelphia, Green Bay, Dallas, and the Giants. So a six-pack of picks coming up with Lee Sterling. We'll also have Tom Gimbel, bottom of the hour, our weekly Wednesday feature, the live music update. And big time important this week is a lot of folks are going to have folks in from out of town.
Oh, yeah.
And
they want some music. You got to get them out of your house.
Looking to get out and see some good stuff and show them Austin, Texas, and what makes it the live music capital of the world. Tom will help us with a roadmap to that great live music. And before the end of the hour, we got to make our Supreme Lending picks, Buck. Supreme Lending picks, because we got to chase down John McClellan and his team at Supreme Lending.
We probably had some separation last week because I took the Vikings.
And he took the Cowboys.
Of course.
He took the Cowboys. Come on, man. And he got, because that's like John's going to have the same record, whatever the Cowboys are. He picks the Cowboys regardless.
That's right.
So he's a fan. You know what I'm saying? Hey, thanks to Craig Way, too, by the way, because I mentioned that, we have these high school football games all day Friday from 11 in the morning until 7 at night with your game down, and you got your 6 o'clock game. But also locally, if you're looking to get out and to see some high school football and you don't want to travel far, you realize that at the field at Pflugerville, where you were last week, how do you like that? How do you like that
I like
stadium?
that stadium. It's fantastic.
Well, how about this?
And the people there are incredible, too.
So Friday, tomorrow at 2 o'clock, or Friday, not tomorrow, Friday, at 2 o'clock at the field at Pflugerville.
Mm-hmm.
How about this high-level game? Duncanville, out of the Metroplex, will play the Woodlands in a big-time 6A matchup at the field.
That's a neutral deal for sure.
Yeah, those are two really big-time programs. Also, the doubleheader at Pflugerville that evening, tomorrow on the 25th, Friday, DeSoto, which is, I don't know if you know, DeSoto is Snoop Daniels' alma mater. DeSoto will play Tomball.
Where is that dude going to be? Everywhere, Snoop?
I don't know how Snoop's going to cover all that, but he'll be covering it on the radio on the Flex pregame right here at 5 o'clock on Friday. But think about that, DeSoto and Tomball, and those are two, Metroplex v the Houston area. Tomball north of Houston. Obviously, the Woodlands due north of Houston. That's a good matchup. And you also have Duncanville and the Woodlands.
Wow.
Big time. Somebody mentioned this would be cool. We were talking about if Westlake and Lake Travis both win their games this weekend, Buck, on Friday to play at DKR. Somebody mentioned, can we get Vandergrift Dripping Springs? A doubleheader. Would that be the matchup? Would Dripping Springs advance to play Vandergrift again?
Yes.
How cool would that be?
That would be pretty cool.
We'll get on the horn.
Swing that.
We'll get on the horn with CDC and make that happen. That would be some great. I mean, I'd go to that doubleheader of football on a Saturday or a Friday, and you get those two. It'd probably be a Saturday by next week. But, that would be really cool.
We're starting into Saturday games next week.
Yeah. Well, obviously, if those four teams win, and I believe they're all four favored, Vandergrift, Dripping Springs plays that 11 o'clock game at the Alamo Dome, Lake Travis and Westlake. How cool would it be to have four area teams that far into the fourth round? And obviously, the winners, that would be big time. I bet you'd get some really big crowds out to DKR if you went back-to-back on those games, say, 2:30 and 6 o'clock or something like that. That would be awesome. Let's hope. That'd be a neat deal. Hey, such a neat deal, Buck.
It would be a great deal.
Can we go to the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline? And normally a Friday feature at 9:10. Today it is a Wednesday feature because Turkey Day is tomorrow. He is Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Hello, Lee.
How are you? Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Lee.
Good morning, Buck. I want to wish both you guys a happy, healthy, and safe Thanksgiving, and also to your staff and all the listeners out there. We have so much to be thankful for normally, but on top of that, we got high school playoffs. I mean, great. My high school is advanced to the second round of the playoffs for the first time in 41 years.
Yeah, it's that time of year. It's a football feast. We've got pro football tomorrow for 3 games plus the Egg Bowl, We've got, all of our high school area teams. Somebody mentioned that if you go to the DeSoto game out there in Pflugerville, Buck, you can see Longhorn commitment John Tay Cook. Also, Trey Wisner, the running back, is committed to Steve Sarkisian and the Longhorns. So much football.
And thank you, Lee. We appreciate it. Same to you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. And the Thanksgiving feast, we'll start with Saturday and work our way back here. Let's start with the biggest game of the weekend with the most ramifications. It's Ohio State and Michigan from Columbus. Obviously, the winner is on their way to the college football playoff. They'd have to play Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State's favored by 7.5. Both teams dealing with running back injuries, which are critical. Ohio State's got a couple injured running backs, and Blake Corum, the Heisman Trophy candidate from Michigan, he hurt his knee against Illinois last week, and he's uncertain. How do you handicap this game, Lee?
So you probably want to wait till close to game time. Watch Blake Corum, what his status is, and also weather. Right now, it's projected to be clear in the low 50s, but they're forecasting rain for Saturday evening. So if it comes earlier, it would probably tilt in Michigan's direction. But as long as it's clear, I mean, if Blake Corum can't go, he's not 100%. I think it really hurts this Michigan team, which has the better running attack, and they also don't beat themselves. Number 6 in least amount of penalties, but Ohio State C.J. Stroud is something special. 35 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. If they get up by double digits, it's going to make it really difficult here on Michigan to come back here. Home field also, you got to factor that in. Also revenge. Michigan won with a big upset last year, but before that, Ohio State won 7 straight here. I like Ohio State if the weather's good, 34-24.
34-24
yeah, that's
in
good
the shoe.
call.
That's
yeah,
11 o'clock kick on Saturday. Buck?
Lee, Kansas State, Kansas. The Longhorns will be looking at that game if they were to beat Baylor, of course. And this K-State team and Kansas, I saw a lot from Kansas last week, and especially on the defensive end. It doesn't make me think that they can beat Kansas State a week later. I really don't. What do you think of this game? That's a pretty big number.
It is, and I thought Texas got a little bit of a break. Then Will Howard didn't play in the game when they played a few weeks ago. So the bloom is off the rose here with this Kansas team, especially the defense. They have been, just dominated, 98 to 42 point deficit the last 2 weeks. They're getting tripled and quadrupled up as far as rushing yard advantage by the other team. And Kansas State, 27-11-1 against the spread run. With Will Howard, this is a team that, if they go in and they play TCU, that's going to be a whale of a ball game. They're also number 4 in turnover margin, very important in big games here. I think Kansas State doubles up Kansas, 48-24.
Longhorn fans will not be happy with that, but they got to take care of their own business. Let's get to that game. We'll get to that one in a minute. How about TCU and Iowa State, Lee? This one's huge for the Horned Frogs. They're favored by 10.5. They just need to win, and they're going to get their, they keep their college football playoff hopes alive. Survive that game at home or at Waco last week to Baylor. What do you think of the Cyclones and the Horned Frogs?
Well, the Cyclones don't get you real excited because, they're going to have to score some here, and the offense. Their quarterback Decker just does not read coverage as well. Now Baylor was impressive last week. The first drive, they just took it right down TCU's throats. First offensive series, 76 yards to the end zone, 8 runs, 2 passes, took up almost 6 minutes of time. I don't think Iowa State can do that with their lousy offense here in Fort Worth here. Their defense, I just think they're asked to too much. They're on the field for too long here. Max Duggan just finding ways here. I think TCU's the right side here, 31-14.
That's a good call, Lee. And right here in Austin, Texas, Senior Day, 11 a.m. in the morning, Texas, Baylor. This is for Texas. It's not the same as what they saw against Kansas on defense. But the Horns are at home. There's Senior Day. There's a lot of emotions that will flow. Plus, they have an opportunity still to get to a championship game if things fall the right way. But you got to take care of business here.
Yeah, and I like what I saw last week. So I think this team is going to continue playing well from this point forward. They're going to face a Baylor team that on offense just doesn't have the playmakers here. The quarterback, Baylor quarterback, Chapin just not able to hit on big plays. He's missed a bunch of open receivers. I think this game comes down to which defense, as far as run defense, shows up and holds up here. I like Texas here. Sometimes you got to lay it if you want to play it. Texas, 35-20 over Baylor on Senior Day.
Get to 8-4, and then sit back and wait and see what happens. Kansas and Kansas State. Hey, how about the NFL? That will be coming up. Of course, we'll get the Thursday game coming here in a minute. But how about Philadelphia and Green Bay? You mentioned the bloom off the rose with Kansas. Is the bloom coming off the rose a little bit with the Eagles? They have taken a loss, and they struggled with the Colts last week. Their offense seems to have slowed down, still giving up some rushing yards. They play the Green Bay Packers. They're a 6.5-point favorite. Aaron Rodgers and company is continuing to struggle. What do you think?
Yeah, the 4-7 Packers have a lot of problems. I mean, there's a bunch of players not playing well, but I don't know if you realize this, but Aaron Rodgers has gone now 16 straight games without throwing for 300 yards.
Wow.
So that to me was amazing. A.J. Dillon not playing at a high level. I mean, Kenny Clark not playing well. Sammy Watkins totally invisible. I think Matt LaFleur getting out coached here. The Packers defense I think is soft, especially without Rashawn Gary rushing the passer. I just don't expect the Eagles to play 3 below par games in a row here. I like Philadelphia, 34-13.
Lee, and the Dallas Cowboys Turkey Day versus the New York Football Giants. We saw what Dallas did to Minnesota last week, and I like the Cowboys here. The Giants, I don't know who Daniel Jones is going to throw the ball to. I know the Cowboys can shut down Saquon Barkley. I believe they can. And I like the Cowboys to end up in the Super Bowl, Lee. What do you think about this game?
All right, so let's look at this Giants team with a winning record. Their run defense, they're allowing 5.3 yards per carry, 31st in the league. The only team worse, the L.A. Chargers. So those kind of numbers are not going to hold up. They could be without 3 receivers for this game. They lost Robinson, their most dynamic receiver. He's done with an ACL injury. They could be without 3 starting offensive linemen. They could be without 3 defensive backs. I mean, the list goes on and on. Here it is. Just stop Barkley, and you stop their offense. They're just not explosive at all. And this Dallas team starting to put it all together now. So, even though the Giants are 2 games removed from the bye week, they are just injury riddled. They don't have enough depth here. I think they get exposed here on Turkey Day. Blowout special. Dallas 50-14 over the G-Men.
50-14.
There you go.
Louise. All right, it is always a fun weekend. 4 days of football and feasting and family. How can they be a part of it with you at ParamountSports.com? Lee, get the game of the week, which is Oklahoma and Texas Tech, and have fun all 4 days.
Yep, they want to get that game for free. Just call 800-400-9741. We'll give them the game for free. What a year it's been. 12 out of 15 winning weeks. We hit our college football underdog play of the year last week with Duke. We have our college football blowout special going on Saturday. It's a game where a team is favored by a little more than a touchdown. I think they win by 30 or 40 points. We're 4-1 on these 45 to 50 unit selections. 55-19 the last 12 years on our 40 to 50 unit best bets. Turkey shootout, 15 games, just $97, and it will include the college football blowout special. Just one place, Paramount Sports. And again, happy, healthy Thanksgiving to you guys and everyone out there, and just enjoy being around family and watch a little bit of football also.
Thank you so much, Lee.
Thanks, Lee. We'll talk a week from Friday, head into championship Saturday and championship weekend. We appreciate it. And happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Thank you, Lee.
Look forward to it, guys. Be safe.
All right, there you go. There's Lee. If you joined in the middle, he took Ohio State by 10 over Michigan. The Blake Corum injury, a factor. He, along with Bijan Robinson, those 2 guys are among the 10 finalists for the Doak Walker Award now, Buck. Corum and Bijan, Kendre Miller, Deuce Vaughn. But he can't go. Yeah, that's going to stall out Michigan's offense.
Certainly will.
Look, Jim Harbaugh's not going to stop trying to run the ball.
Oh, no, he's still going to do that. I mean, they'll do that with their third guy.
They're not going to change what they do, but Corum is obviously their best player on offense. Ohio State, though, they've got Mayan Williams hurt and TreVeyon Henderson, both questionable. They may have to go all the way down to the freshman who helped them, bail them out at Maryland last week. C.J. Stroud, obviously an advantage over J.J. McCarthy at quarterback, home crowd, 11 o'clock. Ohio State he likes. He also likes Kansas State by a wide margin over Kansas. TCU doesn't think Iowa State can keep up with them. Likes the Longhorns. You like that score, 35-24?
I think that's about right.
Yeah. 35-20, I think he said.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the concern for Texas is Quinn Ewers. I mean, here's what I trust with Baylor. Dave Aranda is going to make Quinn Ewers beat him. in this game. He's going to. I mean,
oh yeah, he's got the kind of guys that TCU. He's got the kind of studs that TCU has to make him throw the ball. Just throw it.
And as much as Steve Sarkisian will allow it, I mean, what lessons were learned from the TCU game? You can't let them just take your best player away.
No.
Bijan Robinson is your best player. Did you learn the conversation you had with Bijan about, hey, don't keep getting me the ball?
Yeah, and it wasn't but a couple 2 or 3 weeks ago where Baylor's defense wasn't playing that good. Part of that team was playing well.
Yeah, and they couldn't hold up the lead. I mean, this isn't the Baylor defense of a year ago.
No.
But, I mean, Quinn Ewers has been among the worst quarterbacks in the conference, or the worst quarterback in the conference in the last month.
I like when it's a little wet and damp with a running back. Here, you want to tackle me?
I do too. But again, this is the third. I mean, this is number 2 and number 3 in rush defense in this conference. Baylor's going to do everything they can do to stack the line. And remember, TCU didn't come in with gaudy run defense stats, and they stopped Bijan.
Yes.
And then Sark just stopped going to him. I mean, that can't happen in this game because Quinn Ewers is not ready to go win this game, I don't believe, with his arm and throwing into Dave Aranda's defense.
No, he's not at that point yet.
No, so there's got to be easy throws. You got to get Jordan Whittington involved early. If they do a good job stuffing your run, then you've got to get Bijan involved in the passing game.
Once again, if they get into that, 8.5, 9 guys in the box, you're supposed to throw the ball, but you have to complete the ball, and guys have to catch the ball when it gets to them. You have to make those plays. I know. I say 2 things at once. I say, well, I didn't mind running against a stacked box because if you don't make the tackle, the guy's out the gate with defenders with their backs turned towards you. But in this modern age of football, they put 9 in the box. You got some one-on-ones. You have to make those throws. If that dude is going to be your quarterback, he has to make those throws.
Agreed, 100%.
He has to make those throws, and the dudes he throws it to, those guys have to make those catches. But I know one guy I would be looking to is Jordan Whittington. That's the guy I'd be looking to in a bunch of crossing routes that will make a catch, and he'll make a run after the catch.
Agreed, 100%. All right, so he also likes Philadelphia, wide margin over Green Bay. Dallas with a 50 spot, he says, over the New York Giants on
God, I didn't know
tomorrow.
that many guys from the Giants are out. I mean, they're out. They're not just
and
they weren't that good when they were playing.
Only thing that gives you pause about the Cowboys, they've been lousy on Thanksgiving Day the last 4 years. I mean, they haven't won one since 2018. This is their opportunity, and they've lost 4 of their last 5 on Thanksgiving Day at home. So, but a win here would be huge because that would put the Cowboys, keep them in line right behind the Eagles, and then they'd have an extra 10 days off. There's talk of Odell Beckham Jr., also that Tyron Smith, the left tackle, could be back for their December games coming out of the Thanksgiving break. So, big opportunity for the Cowboys tomorrow.
Absolutely.
It's a 3:30 kickoff. Of course, Bills will play the Detroit Lions, the surging Lions, in the early game at 11:30. Night game has the Vikings facing the New England Patriots. We'll be back. It will be Tom Gimbel with your live music update. Got some family coming in from out of town. You want to know where to go see some great music in the live music capital of the world. Tom, the general manager of the Austin City Limits television show, will guide us. That's coming next. B&E on the horn. It is a Wednesday and jam-packed. We're trying to get a bunch of stuff done. We just talked to Lee Sterling, normally a Friday feature. We got to make picks with Supreme Lending and before the top of the hour because we're done for the rest of the week. We will enjoy Thanksgiving tomorrow with our families, and hopefully you will too. We will also have a Texas game on Friday morning, so I'll be with Mike Harge and Rod Babers for the pregame show starting at 7 a.m. from what might be a rainy DKR and Bevo Boulevard right outside at Gate 2. So be ready. Bucky and I won't be back with Ty for a B&E show until Monday. We'll enjoy the 4-day weekend, but we will have a Texas game sandwich in there, plus all the high school football of Friday, all the football tomorrow, but also the live music in the live music capital of the world. We know a lot of folks will have folks in from out of town, want to get out and check out some great stuff. That's why every Wednesday in this spot, we are privileged to have our friend Tom Gimbel, the general manager of the Austin City Limits television show, join us to guide us to the best shows of the week. Hello, Tom.
Good morning, E. How are you?
Doing good. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Same to you.
Hey,
I love Thanksgiving.
I've started into the 4-hour show on HBO, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction broadcast, which is a lot of fun. Got to see Duran Duran and Pat Benatar. I love these shows. I know you guys do it with your Hall of Fame at ACL. It is such a neat deal with all the musicians get together. They honor the greats, and they're so humbled. And you learn a lot about these bands and how they got together and their stories. It really is cool. I'm into. I think I'm where am I now? I got Duran Duran. I had Pat Benatar. It's 4 hours long, so I'm trying to make my way through it. But man, it's really cool. They honored. Oh man, Jimmy Iovine. They put in Jimmy Iovine, the unbelievable producer of Bruce Springsteen and Tom Petty, and then Dr. Dre and the Beats. I mean, these are icons in music.
Yeah, Jimmy Iovine got his start, I think, just like somehow he was invited to engineer for the John Lennon Imagine record, I think, was his.
Yeah, well, they told last night they talked about Bruce Springsteen, who was about to record one of his early albums, and whoever was supposed to be there didn't show up. And they asked Jimmy Iovine, who was just there cutting tape, said, "Hey, can you do this?" And he said, "Oh, I got it. I can do this," and that's where it all began. He just took off, and now he's Jimmy Iovine into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But what a pioneer he's been in music and producing for sure. But that's a cool show. I love the way they do those, and you guys do a very similar one, which will be broadcast coming up in January, right?
Yeah, well, actually, we're going to, because of we don't have the opportunity to make it a 4-hour show on PBS. But one of the challenges when you do have such a special night of music and such wonderful performances and the speeches, and it's like, what do you cut? What performance do you leave out? Are you going to leave Jason Isbell out? Are you going to leave Brandi Carlile out? So what we're going to do is take the Sheryl Crow and Joe Ely Austin City Limits Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, and we're going to cut it into 2 1-hour shows, one highlighting Sheryl Crow and one highlighting Joe Ely. And this may be what we do going forward, is to put it into 2 1 hours, because like you said, the stories behind these incredible artists, how they got started, how they inspired others, people want to see that. And for us as producers, it's really tough to leave something like that on a cutting room floor. So we're going to make it a 2-hour show and just cut it into 2 1 hours that will air kind of bookending the second half of our season, which will begin airing in January of 23. So we're excited about that.
Well, in a full circle moment, if you do watch the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions, because Sheryl Crow went in for you guys, and she was introduced by Brandi Carlile, who talked about how inspiring Sheryl Crow was for her. Sheryl Crow actually introduced Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo at the event for the Hall of Fame, because she said the same thing, that's I wanted to be Pat Benatar when I was 18 years old. So it's a full circle. You talk about the inspiration that comes from these musicians. So that's really cool to hear. 2 1-hour shows for Tom and his team there. And somebody just texted and said, speaking of music, we're headed to San Antonio to see Judas Priest. And they went in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in this round. Judas Priest went in as well in the heavy metal side. Pretty cool stuff. Hey, Tom, where is the good live music? We know this is always a big week for our audience. We'll post all of your picks at our website, but so many folks with downtime and they got family in and they're looking to get out of the house, not just watch football all day. Where are they headed to see good music?
Well, tonight at ACL Live at the Moody Theater is one of the biggest norteño bands of all time. They're from Sonora, Mexico. They're called Los Tigres del Norte, and they have sold over 60 million albums. These guys are legends. They've been going since 1965, absolute legends in the norteño music world, and they are at ACL Live tonight. So if you want to have a little music in advance of your Thanksgiving, maybe you've got some folks in town a night early, that would be an awesome show to take them. Our good friend Wade Bowen is going to be down at Green Hall. He's one of the great Texas, what you call Texas country or red dirt country. He's from Waco. Seeing Wade Bowen at Green Hall is a great show, and that's going to be tonight as well. And then you wouldn't think there's a lot of music on Thanksgiving night, but Dale Watson and his Lone Stars put together something they call the Thanksgiving Show and Dance, and that's at the Continental Club. If you've never seen Dale Watson at the Continental Club, it's not just the music that's on the stage. He's kind of got a group that are these loyal Texas swing dancers, and they're fantastic. They're really cool. So if you have folks in from out of town and you just want to give them an unbelievable experience, take them to the Continental Club to see Dale Watson and his Lone Stars. And you're not just going to get to see Dale, who's awesome on the stage, but the dancers that are happening are part of the show as well. And that's at 10 o'clock. So, probably take your nap after your Thanksgiving feast, hop up, grab a Bud Light, and head on out to the Continental Club.
There you go.
That would be a good show tomorrow night. And then Antone's, obviously a legendary Austin music venue as well. I was just there last night to see a group called Hermanos Gutierrez, who are signed to Dan Auerbach's label. Two brothers, purely instrumental. They play two guitars, and it's really cool. Really, really cool stuff. Highly recommend checking it out. It was their first show in Austin, and they sold out Antone's. It was pretty awesome. They brought Adrian Quesada on stage as a special guest. He's, we talk about inspirations. He's one of their inspirations. So they were so honored to bring a famous Austin musician like Adrian Quesada on the stage, their first time playing Austin. And so that was a pretty cool night. But if you want to get out to Antone's, you got Friday and Saturday night, two chances to check out Dumpsta Funk, which is a legendary funk and soul band out of New Orleans, led by Ivan Neville, Ian Neville. These guys are incredible, and you have two nights to see them at Antone's. If you are a fan of the heavier stuff, there's a band called King's X that's out of Springfield, Missouri. These are kind of like heavy prog metal, really technically brilliant band. They're going to be at Come and Take It Live on Riverside. If you're a fan of the metal stuff, King's X is fantastic. And then another great show, especially for the out-of-towners, especially for the ladies, if there's some out-of-towners, the Bob Schneider and Moonlight Orchestra at ACL Live at the Moody Theater on Saturday night. Bob Schneider always brings it, another Austin legend, and that's going to be at ACL Live on Saturday. And then two good shows also on Saturday. Tamika Jones, who we talked about when she was leaving Austin, she was going to L.A. She was kind of a little frustrated with how things were working with her being an Austin artist. So she was moving out to L.A. to give it a shot. She's back, and she's playing at the Pershing, which is over on East 5th Street on Saturday night. She is a tremendous vocalist and wonderful songwriter, kind of called the Queen of Austin Soul. She's going to be back in town, so that's a treat. And then there's an artist named Blue the Tiger, and she is from New York. She's kind of the bedroom pop singer-songwriter thing that's happening a lot on Spotify right now. She's going to be over at the Scoot Inn. That's a good show as well. And the Scoot Inn's another legendary venue, a great place to take people from out of town. And then our music week is going to wrap up. We've got the Band of Heathens, great band playing at Antone's on Sunday night. And then out of California, AFI, one of those 90s punk rock emo bands. AFI is going to be at Emo's on Monday. So a lot of good music, a lot of good sports. This is really interesting. I mean, Thanksgiving's always my favorite holiday because you get to eat, sit on the couch in your sweatpants and watch football. That's right. Those are three good things. never before has the World Cup overlapped with Thanksgiving. It is talk about a feast, and then you've got the U.S. playing at the same time as
the Longhorns.
The Longhorns. So I don't know if I'm going to be, kind of checking the score on my phone because I'm definitely going to be at that Baylor game.
Yeah.
But I'm a big U.S. soccer fan, and disappointing with the tie because I really thought they had a chance to take 3 points out of that first round. But I am a big fan, and obviously U.S. England is just
tremendous,
legendary kind of match. So we got a bunch of good stuff going on. I might just have to set the DVR, and nobody, if you see me at the Longhorn game, don't tell me the score.
Yeah, just wear headphones and don't be listening to anything. You know what I'm saying? Don't check your phone. It gets so hard to do that these days, but alerts and whatnot. But I don't know if you saw it this morning, but an upset as Japan beat Germany this morning in group play, which was huge, much like Argentina falling to Saudi Arabia the other day. A couple other notes you mentioned tonight. Wade Bowen at Greenhall, which I love. His good buddy William Clark Green is playing at Antone's, our good friends. That'll be a good one, too, if you're looking to stay local. And remember, before the Longhorn game on Friday, how about how many Grammys is Asleep at the Wheel won? Like 10 or 12 or something? Asleep at the Wheel with Ray Benson and our good friend Django Walker will be taking the stage at LCL starting at 9:30 to get you ready for the final home game. Django, a huge Texas fan. Of course, his father, Jerry Jeff Walker, passed away this year. But Django and then Ray Benson and the Sleep at the Wheel, who just celebrated their 50th anniversary, will take the Longhorn City Limits stage on Friday morning.
Yeah. I mean, Longhorn City Limits has really nailed it this year. I mean, there's been some great shows. And I think for a Thanksgiving weekend show, Asleep at the Wheel, that's a pretty good one. That's going to be fun. That's going to be after the
no, it's before.
And
are they going with Django before and Asleep at the Wheel after?
Django before and Asleep at the Wheel after. Yeah,
that's cool. So Django will be the lead-in at 9:30, and then afterwards, Ray Benson and company, hopefully playing for a Longhorn victory over those Baylor Bears, and Tom will be in attendance. Where your what do you call it, your parka or your poncho there, Tom? It's going to be raining on Friday, it looks like. So enjoy the ball game. We look forward to next Wednesday, and happy Thanksgiving to you and the family and everybody.
Same to you, my friend. Enjoy it.
All right, there you go, Tom Gimbel, general manager of the iconic Austin City Limits television show. Remember, when you're out and about, checking in your live music, watching sports in your pajamas, make sure you're sipping back on a nice cold Bud Light. Our friends at Brown Distributing want to remind you to be safe and smart. You can't drive home drunk if you didn't drive to the event. That's the key. Have a plan for a sober ride home each and every time, but do it with an ice cold Bud Light, the official domestic beer partner of the Texas Longhorns, the Texas X's. Thanksgiving, good times in Austin, Texas, brought to you by Bud Light. Be safe, but happy Thanksgiving to all. We'll be right back. B&E with you. We'll make our Supreme Lending picks. Who's Bucky like this week? We'll have those on the other side. Good stuff today. Appreciate everybody. We've got to make some picks here, Buck. You ready for Supreme Lending
Ready
picks?
to go.
Couple quick notes. If you tuned in late in the show, coming up, it's Light the Tower. They'll be live at Pluckers, the South Lamar location. It's the final Wing Fans lunch of 20 and 22. We've had a great time with our friends at Pluckers and Bud Light, Brown Distributing. Come on out. Just come say hi. You could win some Baylor tickets. I believe they have a raffle to give those away. Plus, if you got signed up and you qualified for our Wing Fan lunch at noon, you'll be eating free wings and getting a couple of Bud Lights on yours truly, because I did beat Dave Paul head-to-head in our Pick'em contest again. So it's been a good year. We've been feeding the masses with our Wing Fan lunch. That'll be South Lamar today. Guys go live at 10. I'll be out there about noon to have lunch and talk some football. Looking forward to that. Also, of course, then it's Chad and Zay through the midday. Ball Don't Lie this afternoon. And then we're into our Thanksgiving holiday, Buck. Couple notes we mentioned earlier. Lance Leipold gets a new contract with Kansas. There was talk that maybe Nebraska.
Good for them. Good for Kansas.
And not only did he agree to a deal that extends through 2029, it also comes with a guarantee of $300 million.
How about that?
In upgrades to their facilities. This was part of the deal. It's like Leipold says, if I'm staying, I need to be able to recruit, and I need better facilities. And they said, okay. Because you won 6 games. We haven't won 6 games since 2008 when Mark Mangino was bumping around.
That's right.
And you won a mini game this year. It's Les Miles the last 3 years we've played. So Lance Leipold will be staying at Kansas, and that seems like a good deal. The question will become, after Texas plays on Baylor on Saturday, Buck, does Gary Patterson start fielding offers?
Yeah, what happens with that?
You know, Steve Sarkisian was asked about it on Monday, and he said, look, that's what the offseason is for. All coaches are going to evaluate their situation and where they are. We'd love to have Gary back, but, you know, if he has offers, he's got to consider that, where he wants to do. And, you know, we've heard links with Nebraska because of his Texas ties and the way he built TCU and left it in really pretty good shape for Sonny Dykes to, you know, get them to undefeated right now. So we'll see.
I'll tell you what, if they jerked around down there and College Station, that guy's name would be one of the top guys on my list.
At A&M?
Yes.
Yeah, Jeff.
If things weren't sour.
Does the success
It's already sour.
Well, what's your commentary, you and Ty, on TCU this year? Does their success reflect better or worse on Gary Patterson?
There are a lot of Gary's players that are there that just got.
Yeah, he recruited the whole roster.
Right.
He just needed to take a step back.
Yeah,
he really did.
But it shows you that he can build a talented roster and
For
develop
sure.
a talented roster. That's a good team. You know, I think if you got Gary in here, he'd say, you know, I'd be doing that too. But that's what coaches believe. But Sonny Dykes with a fresh vision
and a different message,
new voice. Maybe he'd grown stale, but you know that would. If I'm Nebraska, I'm thinking, man, look what he built in the Big 12 and in little old TCU. Yeah, Sonny Dykes has done a great job with it, but you got to build it. Someone's got to acquire that talent and the facilities, the upgrades that they did there.
Yeah, and they've got some nice skill players.
They do. Okay, so well, look, once they moved into the Big 12 and they were winning, they were able to compete for the Quentin Johnstons of the world and the recruits of the 4- and 5-star nature. And they brought Zach Evans in, and obviously that was part of the distraction of last year. And
absolutely,
he ended up at Ole Miss. But I think it does help Gary Patterson that he can still coach. He's only 62 years old. Do we think Lane Kiffin's bolting from Ole Miss? When we come in here on Monday, are we going to hear that Lane Kiffin coached the Egg Bowl and then said, "See you later, Rebels," or you think he's sticking and staying?
No, we're going to hear that the Rebels have put a bunch of money in their facilities too.
No.
Gone?
No way that
Gonzo?
happens. He's gone.
Think so, huh?
Well, look, it was this weekend last year when Oklahoma played Oklahoma State in Bedlam, and after the game, Lincoln Riley said, "See ya. I'm going to USC," which stunned the world. And then not long after that, Brian Kelly jumped out of Notre Dame and ended up at LSU.
Yeah, this is the happening week, the rivalry week, when things start happening.
Well, once this is over, if you're not playing in your championship game, the season's over.
That's right.
So you can start making those moves. And we know every program wants to have their coach in place for the transfer portal and for recruiting. It all happens quickly with the portal opening December the 5th, and which is a Monday. And then December 21st is National Signing Day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there we go. That's your day. That's your weekend. Remember our Cowboys game tomorrow at 3:25. Are you running that tomorrow, Ty? Should I bring you some food?
I'm not.
Oh, you got out of that?
I got relieved.
Thank goodness.
A day off for me.
Day off for you.
Good job.
Awesome. So we've got that. Excuse me, Buck. We also have pregame 7 o'clock in the morning with Baylor and Texas.
I will be working that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to spend some time with Hards this afternoon.
You are?
Yeah, for a couple hours.
Cool. What time is that? You going to go in there with the
3.
Hards ball?
Going at 3.
3 for a little while. Well,
until 5.
Be looking for that. Can we make some picks?
Well, yeah, let's get them.
All right, here we go. Pick'em games with Supreme Lending. It is all for fun. $10,000 on the table for the winning team when it's all over between ourselves, Coke FM, Supreme Lending, and Christopher Waters. Game number 1, New York Giants, Dallas Cowboys. You're going Cowboys, correct?
For sure.
You will also go Ohio State or Michigan?
Ohio State.
Buckeyes at home. C.J. Stroud, does he put himself in the front-runner status for the Heisman Trophy?
You know, that Michigan defense is going to be tough. I think this may be a low-scoring affair.
Think so?
It'll be about the run game.
Okay. Notre Dame, USC. At SC.
Ooh, that scared me. USC.
Let's go.
Let's go. Notre Dame can play some defense, and they can smash the rock.
Oh, they will be trying to – if anybody they can score against is that USC's defense.
That's an interesting game. That is 6:30 Saturday night. Oklahoma, Texas Tech, both are 6-5 in Lubbock.
Everything goes through Lubbock this weekend.
You got JoJo McGuire?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Just for the weekend, it's going through Lubbock.
And finally, the final pick of the 5 is a good one. It's a rematch of last year's AFC playoff matchup. Cincinnati Bengals at Tennessee Titans, noon on Sunday.
I think the Bengals are on a roll.
Ooh. Have you seen this Derrick Henry fella?
Yes.
Have you seen this Derrick Henry fella? At home.
Joe Burrow's doing
Ryan
okay now.
Ryan Tannehill coming off a 300-yard game and win over the Packers.
Is he getting his wide receiver back?
Who? Jamar Chase? He's practicing this week. They don't know. They're not sure about Jamar Chase.
I don't like that. Not being.
They're going to be very careful
Titans,
with
Bucky,
him.
Titans.
And remember, Titans are coming off the Thursday game, so they had extra time to prepare for a home game with Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They got a great pass rush. You're going.
What are they going to do? Run that big monster every down?
Yeah.
Have you seen them?
Oh, it is starting to get a little cold there, isn't it?
All right. So you like?
Let's go ahead and flip that to the Titans. Let's be smart. Yeah, we'll go Titans.
Tennessee.
We'll go
Titans.
the run game.
All right. So Bucky's Supreme Lending picks, the morning show picks for the week. Texas Tech, Tennessee, USC, Ohio State, Dallas. I would say those are 5 home teams. Probably smart to go with the home teams on those short week games too.
Yes.
But we'll see. We'll grade ourselves on Monday. Buck, happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Same to you guys. You guys be careful out there too. Everybody's going to be traveling. I know you two will be still jumping in your cars and doing stuff. Look out for the other feller.
Look out for the other fella.
That's right.
Always a good idea. Ty, enjoy your day off.
Thank you. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
You don't get many. And good job. Ty won $800 today on a bet on Japan.
Wow.
It's good morning. Good morning.
It is a good morning.
Do you have your gambler's pick of the week or weekend or night?
Well, actually, it's about to start in an hour. Kansas first half under 72.5. Basketball, college basketball.
Who are they playing?
They are playing NC State.
Ooh.
Kansas first half under if you want to go that deep dive.
That's a deep dive.
It's a lock.
Hey, come see us at Pluckers today. Come see us at Pluckers today. It's our final Wing Fan lunch. That's where Light the Tower will broadcast live beginning in mere moments.
Happy Thanksgiving to all you folks.
Happy. We'll talk to you Monday, and we'll talk to you pregame. Bucky will talk to you with high school football on Friday night. And I'll talk to you on Friday morning from Bevo Boulevard. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Every Hour podcast at hornfm.com.